I think we did it. I can take the headphones off for now. The music's going. I think it's reasonably balanced. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. For all of you who weren't here yesterday, welcome. For the first time. How's everyone doing? I know that a lot of people are feeling pretty cooped up right now. I'm doing okay, because this is pretty much normal. I'm in a lot because I work from home. Arkaxon's here. Hey man, Arkaxon, by the way, in chat, who's the moderator, he's the dude who makes all the graphics, like the original graphics. You remember the map from the Wings of Redemption episode? He made that. I'm pointing at the screen, as if that means anything to any of you. But yeah, today, in just a little bit, we're going to have Jabroni Mike on. For those of you who don't know who Jabroni Mike is, he's a full-time Twitch streamer that I hang out with a lot on his stream. We're buddies. We make a few other things. We make the Warrens together. You probably know him from the Warrens if you know him from this, like, from me. Fred's hello everyone brings him just as much joy as Nick's welcome back to Night Mind, friends. Oh, hey, Fujo. Fuzo? Hey, and I saw yesterday, regular cars, Brian. You were here yesterday, and I totally didn't say hello, because I completely missed you. Okay, so, uh-oh. Alright, don't worry, we'll have more Shepherd tones. I guarantee it. It'll be there in the playlist. We're gonna start making tea right now. Okay. I'm just gonna be making some white tea from, this comes, here, you know what? This is Young Mountain Tea. Again, yesterday's oolong was Young Mountain Tea, the Nilgiri oolong. And this is a white tea from Young Mountain Tea. And this comes from a plantation right on, in the Himalayas, right on the border between India and Nepal. So, this company, I mentioned it yesterday, he basically made deals with these farmers, and he said, anything that you make, I'll buy, right? And, like, pay a good price for it, because, like, these tea farms had sort of gotten the short end of the stick in terms of, you know, placement. They weren't close enough to ports in order to really capture out the tea market. It was too much to ship it. But there was still a bunch of tea, and so they sort of had a hard time getting things going. But then this guy approached them and was like, hey, anything you make, I'll buy. Oh, right. There's something I wanted to show all of you. I have a Patreon Discord server, and there were a couple of interesting things that they made. Let me show you. After yesterday's mishap, I'll show, here's the first one. Here we go. Here, I'll put it up here. First. I'll leave that on. You know what? I'll leave that off as I make the tea. But it's good. There was another one I'll show you guys in a minute. But first, let's make this tea. First, I'm going to... So this tea, it's been like a couple of weeks since I brewed it. I think I do 160 degrees. So we'll do 160 and we'll see how it goes. So this is something kind of cool. I'm actually going to show you guys the leaves a little bit better, because this is really cool, and this is something I didn't show with the oolong yesterday. But with good tea leaves, I like to use a lot of tea leaves for this particular white tea. I'm just going to grab a little more. When they get rehydrated, they unfurl. And so right now, it doesn't look like very much. So see, there's just a little bit of tea at the bottom of this cup. And that's going to change a lot. In fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more because I like using lots of leaves when I'm making white tea. 70 is nice for whites. It really depends. Like, different teas require different amounts. Like, I have a really nice white tea that I'm going to be making later this week that I do at 150. Why are people talking about banana bread? What's happening? I look away. See, this is one of the reasons that I had a hard time staying in streaming. At one point, was working my way toward being a full-time streamer, and I was doing okay. I was getting like 70 viewers consistently, but it got too exhausting, and part of it was keeping up with chat. It's just trying to focus on the game, and I tend to play games that require a lot of concentration. So whenever I was playing these games, I'd like desperately be trying to keep up with chat and keep up with the game, and I'd be streaming for long hours, and it was just way too much. And like, that's actually something I'm really impressed with. Like, all the streamers out there, the game streamers especially, like, they blow my mind that they're able to keep the energy up consistently. And I know that they burn out. You know, I burn out. Like, we burn out the same. But they're able to keep going for so much longer. And I was a pretty low energy streamer, all things considered. Oh yeah, wow. You remember my For Honor streams. Goodness gracious. My thoughts on French press tea? I don't see what's wrong with it. It sounds like, it actually sounds ideal, because you have the leaves floating in the water. It's sort of the same idea with this. You have the leaves, like, the leaves aren't restricted, they're floating around in the water and then they're strained out afterward. That's kind of the ideal way to make tea. No, I just have a lot of respect for people who, like, do game streams day in and day out with really active chats. Yeah, it was, like, it was a good time for sure. Innovation Elite, the Planetside 2 update with the capital ships is already here, and it's so wild. Rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole in Leafy, I feel like the content cop did everything that I could do. Well, you know, okay, it's different. It's apples to oranges, but I feel like everyone's talked about Leafy at this point. I'm not really sure what I could add. But I know that part of the point is like approaching it from a different angle. Okay, water's ready. Let's see. How much should I steep this? I'm gonna go for 1.5 minutes, and we're gonna try this. That's a nice thing. I can just make more tea. And yeah, like, some people call it gong fu cha. I mean, like, it's kind of the way that I make my tea. I just use the same leaves for a long time until I stop getting flavor out of them. And that's kind of funny. Like, you just steep it for longer and longer. Sometimes you up the temperature a little bit. I'll do 1.5 minutes. Have I played Mordhau? Yeah. Great game. All chat is the worst thing ever in that game. Ooh. There we go. Perfect. Okay, we'll see how this goes. You don't have any fancy Himalayan white tea, but you're going to have a cup of lemon ginger herb tea? Fantastic. Whatever you like. It's just whatever you feel. Like, if you enjoy it, great. Although I will steer people away from Tivana in general. I went on a date with someone a while ago, a long time ago, who had Tivana reps, like, desperately trying to get this small-time tea creator's herbal recipe. Like, they tried to bribe her. It was really brutal and really underhanded. They were like, we'll buy it, and she was like, no. And then they started getting nasty. Teavana is owned by Starbucks, just by the way. So, Oh, so by the way, I will be going over the super chats at the end of the stream. I'll catch them if they're here. Like, now's a good time to do it, but when I bring Mike on, I'm going to be concentrated on talking with him. All right, let's see how this went. Uh-oh. It's a very light-looking brew. Okay, no, it's okay. I think that this is going to be good. That's the nice thing about this tea. I would highly recommend getting the Kumon White from Young Mountain Tea. It's just, it's so fantastic. Here, you know what? It's this very fresh sort of taste. It has sort of a melon note to it. It's melony, and it kind of, like, when you sip it and you exhale, you get that scent of like a fresh spring breeze when you're out in the country. It's like, and I know that sounds really, really romantic, but that's actually like the actual scent of it. It's pretty close. And I'm not talking about, you know, if you're close to a dairy farm. I'm talking like out in the forest, right? I know, right? My white tea is looking really light. I know that white tea always looks light, but you know what I mean. Where if it's like really light, it's like, uh-oh. But no, I got this just right. My memory actually served me pretty well here. Tea is actually fantastic if, like, if you're addicted to soda. I know a lot of people are addicted to soda, like a lot of my friends are. Tea is a really good way to get out of it. Even, like, expensive tea, you'll save money because you can get so many steeps out of tea. I would highly recommend anyone who's, like, really into soda, at the very least, try some, like, fruity herbal teas, like fruit teas, because those are a thing. You just add a little bit of honey to it, too, and that's all the sweetness you need on top of it. There were a few questions that I wanted to answer up here. Someone asked, do I like lapsang souchong? You mean bacon tea? Yeah. When I was still living with my family and making lapsang souchong, sometimes my dad would walk in and be like, is someone making bacon? Hoping he could get a little bite, but then he saw me making tea, and just the disappointment in his face was absolute. And Fujo, I do have VR, and I do need to play Blade and Sorcery. I have a lot of games in my queue right now. Soda's dessert for you? I get that. I don't know. Soda just... I stopped drinking it, and then it stopped tasting good to me after a while. Okay. Let's see. Now might be a good time to bring Mike in. This tea is good. I like oolongs, you know, I have to be in the mood for them, kind of like lapsang souchong. I actually went through all of my lapsang souchong. It's one of the only black teas that I'm really into. But like green and white teas are really what I enjoy. And yes, I'm working on a video. I'm still cutting together the narration. Ryan's working on the music. The video is almost done. Like, we're in the last phases, don't worry. Thoughts on iced tea? I'm not familiar with Liu Bao. Like, I profess how much I love tea, but I'm still kind of a tea noob. I'm just like, tasty leaf water. I'm sorry. Why are you subscribed? This is the Down the Rabbit Hole YouTube channel. Alright. Let's go ahead and pull Mike in. Why not? Oh, this is funny. I think... Hold on a second. I think... Oh. Okay. We're good. let's get... Oh, expected release date? Give it a couple weeks. A couple more weeks. Let's see, Fujo gave another... Oh, and Lou's here too. Hey there. Alright, let's get Mike in here. Stop stalling. I guess we'll get him in here. Hey, Mike.
What's the tea, sis?
It's white tea. You're drinking
Are you
tea
as...
too.
I am drinking tea. But I wanted to ask you if you're as annoyed by that phrase as I am. The "what's the tea, sis?" I was talking about this the other day. I don't know where it came from, but I really hate it. It annoys me significantly. It means like gossip.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I remember encountering that phrase I think a few months ago for the first time and being like, the tea. Oh.
Yeah, they're ruining tea. Like, I saw the headline of some kind of gossip article. I was like, I'm looking through the news feed to find out if we're all gonna fucking die. And then I see something like, uh-oh, Bruno Mars spilled the tea, or some shit.
What is it? The rumor come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay?
The rumor come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay and spilled the tea is on his gay pants?
Would you like to?
I'm so annoyed by it, man. I don't know. Oh, my tea? What?
No. Would you like to introduce yourself and your tea? Sure.
Oh yeah, I'll start with me. Jabroni Mike. Hi, chat. Thank you for coming. I recognize some of you. I'm a Twitch streamer. I have YouTube channels. It's Jabroni Mike. I like to just use the coverall, the moniker descriptor of professional internet asshole, because that's just what I do. I just go on the internet and act like an asshole.
It works though.
And I'm about to give you a really good example of that. Ready for an example of that?
I'm ready.
I heard you do it first. I was planning on doing that. Just to be a dick.
And then I beat you to it.
And I was like, oh, he just broke all the formality of it or whatever by sipping it like that.
Yeah, that's turning it into an ASMR stream. Like, the whole idea behind this stream originally was, boy, I really hate mukbangs. I had people insulting me because I called it a mukbang, but I was under the impression that was the proper way to say it, because it's a Korean term.
I'm just gonna come out and say I have no idea what you're talking about. It's gonna make me look stupid.
The mukbangs are when people eat in videos. Like, it's just a video of someone eating, and maybe they'll talk to you and tell stories, or sometimes it's ASMR.
That's not like deviant art of like the Pokemon muck having a gangbang, because that was the first thing my mind went to when you said that.
Of course,
like
stick him in with Ditto.
No, Ditto's too pure, man. Don't bring Ditto into this.
Ditto's indiscriminate. It's the purity that
it could just transform into a muck, and then mukbang.
It already looks like a muck, though. It's already like, how many glob Pokemon are there actually? Because I stopped playing at Gen 3.
Yeah.
You're playing Colosseum. That was the last Pokemon game that I played after Sapphire.
Right, so I'm currently doing a playthrough of Pokemon Colosseum on my Twitch channel, and
Moisty.
Yeah, you can find the videos on YouTube if you like that game. It's a classic game. People seem to be digging it. But this game actually made me realize, because you're right about the preponderance of glob Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what else there's a surprising amount of? It's just spherical Pokemon, like orb boys.
Orbs. No, I remember.
There's so many orbs.
Even in the first generation, there was a joke in the anime where it's like, identify this Pokemon by their silhouette. And there was just a circle. And everyone was like, that's easy. And then they said that they got rid of the shadow, and it was a Jigglypuff from above. It was just Pokemon shitposting on itself in the first generation. Like, this was Johto. I think Johto was the first.
Kanto?
No, Kanto. Sorry,
Kanto.
Johto was the second one. My bad.
Fake gamer. You're a fake gamer.
I'm a fake gamer.
Johto. Oh my god, he fakes fake gamer.
1v1 me in For Honor. Let's go.
Even in the remember when we tried that and you just like abused me over and over and over and over?
I was trying. No, but I remember. I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea, and you're like, no, let's duel, and I'm like, fucking all right.
I could tell he was like going easy on me, like to make me feel like I was making any headway at all.
And then you said like, don't go easy, and I'm like, all right.
It's a very intense game. It's really technical, man. There's a lot to it. I mean, you don't play it anymore for a number of reasons, right?
Like it's, I was actually talking with Jake about it yesterday, where I was like, I'm a very competitive person. And I hit the point in For Honor where if I was going to get any better, it would take a significant time and effort commitment. And I wasn't willing to give that to a game like For Honor.
I remember you saying that to him. By the way, I wanted to ask, what happened with him on Twitter? What was that weird?
Oh, he, someone was like saying, I love Popular Front, but I hate Jake. And like, Jake started some goofy banter and was like, meet me out, you know, like I'm going to beat you up by the swings on the playground. And then apparently a bunch of alt-right like groups were mass flagging him because they don't like him.
But Twitter just went up because it's like automated, I guess.
It's automated. He's back though.
Because it was, I mean, such an obvious joke.
He's back,
and he gets banned for that. That's stupid, man.
An algorithm has trouble with sarcasm. Obviously.
Yeah, right.
It's
right. Yeah.
As if I need to express that any further.
Most of my viewers actually have a lot of trouble with sarcasm. You'd be surprised the things where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe he said that. Oh
yeah,
I can't believe he said that. Oh my god.
Oh
my god, I can't believe he believes that. I can't believe he thinks that. Oh my god.
This is something I run into a lot because I tend to talk pretty deadpan. And when I'm sarcastic, this used to happen a lot more. I would say something, you know, I'd be joking, and someone would be like, "Are you serious?" And I'd have to say, "No, of course not." And then I feel like an asshole.
Yeah. I remember I had a friend who I was in a band with, who like I don't know. It's not like he was it was bizarre because it's not like he was a dumbass or anything. But he just like I don't know. He like whatever part of the brain that makes you recognize sarcasm, like his was just missing. It was the weirdest fucking thing.
What, like Brax from... is it Brax from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, kind of like that. But like less kind of dense. Like it was weird because like he wasn't an idiot or anything. It would just be I'd be amazed at the amount of things like I had to explain to him. You know, where it's like, no, I don't want to chug a gallon of cum. He's like, oh my god, really? You want to chug a gallon of... I'm like, there was a joke. You need me to explain to you that was a joke? Like I love you, buddy, but what's going on with you, man? Do you need brain surgery? Like how is this possible? Like it was just time after time after time. He would just not get sarcasm. I think it was it has to be like a medical anomaly with this person.
I feel like there are a lot of like very mild issues that can cause that, but I'm not super familiar.
Oh, so you called the character Brax, and then the chat is correcting you saying it's it's Drax.
It's Drax. It's been years. I'm not a Marvel boy.
Four B's by B's.
God, I can't believe that people remember that. Bees. God damn it. I hate all of you. Okay,
yeah,
so actually, oh, whoopsie daisy. No, get back in there. No, come back. I'm not losing leaves. Damn it. So check this out. So you remember there were just some leaves at the bottom there. Now they're starting to unfurl after the first steep. And now as we keep steeping, they're going to keep unfurling, and I'll just show you I'll show you guys after each steep. It's pretty cool.
Give us them hot leaf pics.
There was
Fred,
I
wanted to ask you, man. I'm noticing that your tea is clear.
Clear.
Like it's like a, or is it just white?
No,
I'm looking at the cup right now. Like what's going on with
it's
that?
empty.
Oh, that's a that's a shadow.
What?
Oh, because you didn't put any tea in the cup yet. That's just an empty cup.
I drank all of it.
You did.
I drank the tea.
All right, then I'm onto something here, because that tea is clear like water. Like I saw it earlier. Like unless you're telling me you put such a small amount of tea in that cup that I couldn't see it, and this is like an optical illusion.
No, I actually put
a
a lot of tea leaves in the cup. It's just a very light brew.
No, not the steeping things. All right. Listen.
What, okay, what?
You need to give me a tutorial.
Okay.
Right, a tutorial about tea.
Right.
So fucking proud of that. Again, I'm so proud of that wordplay. So fucking proud. I want that on my fucking gravestone.
The dude who came up with this pun.
So, the teapot is where the tea is currently steeping.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, it is currently in the little steeper.
The brown thing that looks like a teapot.
What? No, this teapot is not being used because it's poisonous, maybe, and killed stream. It's just there to look nice.
So what the fuck? What is it? You just had that there to look like you're deliberately fucking with me now. You're trying to fuck me up.
I'm not. No, you're fucking with yourself at this point.
Why are you putting a poisonous teapot on the screen?
I didn't know. I didn't know it was poisonous until like 2 nights ago.
What is it, like painted with lead?
Maybe. That's the problem. I don't know. It was supposed to be a Yixing pot, but I was informed that Yixing pots from like a broad swath of time, like 25 years or something, maybe 15, I don't remember, that had like barium chloride put in it, which is rat poison.
Oh, fun.
And so, like, I went into a tea Discord that I'm a part of, and I'm like, hey, guys, is it possible to identify this pot? You know, because there's a stamp, there's an identifying marker on it. And one of the dudes looked at it, and he's like, yeah, that's not a Yixing pot. I'm sorry. Like, it's...
Oh, that's actually an asbestos teapot that's made from pure asbestos. They were popular in the 70s.
It's actually from China, so God knows. Asbestos is still allowed to be used in China. But I think it's only white asbestos, because brown asbestos, I think, is the bad kind.
What about the pink asbestos? There's pink asbestos, right?
There is?
Like the fiberglass, right?
That's not asbestos.
Insulation that used to have asbestos in it, and it was pink?
That's just fiberglass insulation. Oh, I guess they did add asbestos to it, didn't they?
They used to.
For a time.
Yeah,
used to, yeah. I was going to say, like, wall meat.
Well, it really does.
House meat.
It really does look like wall meat, right? You just like you knock a hole in the wall, and you're like, yeah, there's its muscles and shit, the organs.
Right.
That's fucking perfect. How many people thought it was cotton candy and tried to eat it?
Oh God, actually, I had a dream.
A lot of that.
I had a dream a while back. Oh no! I thought no. Okay, I remember. I was looking at places to move. Thanks, Mike.
Excuse me. Please continue. Enjoying my tea.
How hot is your tea? Do you need to be a tea slurper instead of a spaghetti slurper right now?
First of all, that's racist. Second of all,
you're the one in the first Warren's episode.
I know.
Asshole.
It is. I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay.
It is incredibly painful to slurp that tea like that right now, but it's so worth it just to be a penis. But I interrupted you. You were looking for a place to live. I'm sorry.
I was looking. Oh my God. I was looking for a place to live. Ooh, we're getting the dual music right now from Wings of Redemption. This is good.
Oh, okay.
So I was checking out places to live, right? And there was a really beautiful it's not a townhouse, it was a condo. It was a very vertical sort of condo, and it would have been a great place to live, and it was a surprisingly low price. I go in. God, the memories are flooding back. I went there to take a look at it myself, and this woman, who the landlord, well, she wasn't the landlord, landlady. Do you say landlord or landlady?
I think you can.
It's still just landlord.
I think it's land person now.
Land,
you have to, officially say land person. Yeah, land person.
I'm gonna go with landlord. That sounds. That's what I know.
No, say land person. You have to say land person.
God damn.
You say land person, or I will cancel you myself, Fred.
Land. No. Cancel.
Sorry, go ahead, finish. Just tell your story. I'm sorry.
I'm like, yes, this is the hill I'm dying on. Yeah. That's the thing is she wasn't even the land person.
He actually said it, man.
She was just like the manager. And she has oxygen. right? She's got oxygen going into her nose, which is not a problem, right? Except it actually plays a role. Coming up in here, that's a detail. We go in. There are people still living in this place, but they're going to be moving pretty soon. And they're out on the porch, and I was told that that it's a no smoking residence, and that's important to me. So this person's out on the porch smoking, and I'm like, I thought this was a no smoking residence, and they're like, and she's like, oh no, they just smoke outside. So we go inside.
Wait, are you talking about the person with the oxygen is having a cigarette?
No. The person with the oxygen is like the people who are living there are in there right now. Right.
Understood. Sorry.
And no, this person's smoking outside, but right outside the door, and you go inside, and it smells like smoke. It smells like smoke.
They're smoking in there. They're
smoking in there.
Question.
And I'm like, there's afterward I even pointed out, it's like, it smells like smoke in there, and she says, I don't smell anything. And it's like, yeah.
Now you wouldn't, would you?
I guess my guess is that it has something to do with the oxygen that she has to use, right? Maybe it's filtering out the scent, but this isn't even the worst of it, right? So we go in, and immediately it's so this couple have who's obviously a special needs daughter or special needs dependent. I don't know if it's their daughter, and she's sweet. And, she's just very she's a little grabby, but it definitely, like, I wasn't expecting it, right? So for a moment it was kind of uncanny. It's like this, I looked maybe teenage to my memory, maybe 20s. It was just like, what? It took me off guard. And I was immediately in this, like, I was already really uncomfortable, right? In any other circumstances wouldn't have bothered me. But, like, because
But you're in a
I was
stranger's
already
home.
in this,
You're
I was in a
you're
stranger's
home.
There were people there who I wasn't expecting there to be people. The scent is also throwing me off. I have a really sensitive sense of smell. It's probably why I like gentle teas.
That'll fuck with you, man. Cigarette smoke will fuck with you, yeah.
Gives me headaches if I'm around it too long. So I'm just thrown off already. But it's beyond that, right? That's not even the worst of it. It's the layout of this condo. It's extremely vertical. There's not it's pretty much a slice of a house.
You have like a thin house.
Right. And I go up this. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of houses like that here because space is an issue in New York City.
Yeah, and it's clear that they had done work on this thing afterward because there's a window that's mostly behind a balcony, but way beyond reach, right? And you can barely even see out of it. It's clear that they wanted a little sort of balcony area, but there's no way to get to the balcony.
It's probably illegal.
It's weird at the very least. So already you have this structure that's not made for people. But you go halfway up the stairs, there's a landing, and you turn around and you go back up because this thing is thin as hell. And there's a door on this landing into a little storage space, but this door is like 3 or 4 feet off the ground.
What?
So you have to open the door, then clamber up inside of it. I feel like it wasn't made for humans. So, with everything going on, God, I know I'm going to knock this over. With everything going on, I feel like something is off. I feel like something is over my shoulder, watching me.
And that's when he discovered that he was actually in the Final Fantasy house.
I was taking a sip of tea, you mother... It was horrifying. I've never felt so disturbed in my life. We go out on the balcony to look at stuff because it has this little balcony, and the roof is really high too. So you have this really high roof in this really thin condo. I keep wanting to call it a townhouse. It's not a townhouse, it's a condo. So it's even more vertical than it looked at first.
You were in an illegal building, and you were about to maybe start renting an illegal fucking building.
There was no. The moment I walked in, there was no way I was renting this thing, right? Like, I recognized immediately. It was... So I leave, and I feel like I got out just before, like, whatever that house actually was closed its jaws and swallowed me.
Oh, so you're going like... You're thinking like Monster House, like a kind of a horror thing?
A little bit like that. That was the feeling that I got, that it was going to devour me.
It had a little bit of that like Euclidean geometry thing with the door that was off the floor or whatever, right? Like the
I mean,
weird
like the
proportions, a little bit of MC Escher shit going on. You know what I mean?
A little bit. It felt like I said, it felt like it wasn't made for humans.
Yeah, and it was probably filled with house meat. Yeah, it must have been tons of house meat inside those walls.
That's what the house meat reminded me of. I know I just went off on a really long tangent.
Well, I want to bring it back to the tea for a second because I'm looking in that cup. Put that cup up to the camera, please. Or I'm losing my
sure.
mind. That cup, I see that tea moving around in there. That is a very light colored tea. To my eyes.
It is. It is quite a light colored tea.
To me, tea is much darker than that. So this is. I know that it's called a white tea. I heard you say that, but I didn't think it was going to be literally white. That looks like you're drinking water, dude.
It's maybe if I turn up the contrast. Hold on. You know what? This is going to look really ugly for a minute, but I'm going to turn up the contrast on my camera. What in the world? Okay, we're good. Sorry. Let me go into configure video.
How much of a delay is there? Because I see no change. In fact, I see you doing nothing.
No, I haven't done anything yet. Okay, so it's right about there. Okay, I turn up the contrast. Okay,
what's
maybe
up,
you can... Okay, you know what? That didn't help at all.
Well, Judge Gudrun's in chat saying that's normal for a white tea.
It is,
I feel like I've seen like white teas that were at least like a yellowish tint. That just looks like you're drinking water. Like I never seen tea like that before. Maybe I'm an uncultured swine, but I never seen tea like that. Yeah.
No,
dude, you're a tea connoisseur. Have you heard of that, like, that Himalayan, like, the monk tea? The Himalayan monk tea, they're from, like, Nepal? I think you said that tea is from Nepal?
No, this tea is from the Himalayas. It's, it's right on the border of...
It's on the border, right?
India and Nepal.
So these monks, these Tibetan monks, I believe they're Tibetan, or they're Nepalese, I don't know. But what they do is they eat the tea leaves. And then they pick them out of their doo-doo, and then they brew them. And it's like a delicacy.
Wait, I have heard of this. But I don't think is it the
Himalayan
humans
monk
eating
shit
it?
tea.
I thought that they...
Yeah, it's Himalayan monk shit tea. I'm calling it that.
Are you
I don't know
sure?
what the actual word is, but it's Himalayan. Yeah, the monks eat the tea leaves, they shit them out, and then they brew the shit, and you drink it. It's very expensive. Like, you have it imported, dude. It's like more expensive than, like Russian caviar, man. Like, this is like top tier tea.
I feel like, can anyone in chat, like, verify this? Please, I feel like I've heard of this before. That's one life experience I probably don't want.
Why not, man? If you're a man of the world, so you claim, then you should probably have the...
People are saying it's coffee.
Monk shit tea, dude.
People are saying it's coffee beans.
No, you guys are talking about the civet tea, right? Where they brew the beans from the cat shit, right? Where they take the coffee beans out, because the cat eats the fruit, and then they take the beans out of the fruit. This is different. This is human beings that eat the tea leaves. It's like there's an obvious corollary here, but these are two completely different things, guys. Yeah, no, it's two completely different things. Winterbraid is here. Thank you. Winterbraid is a Tibetan monk and can confirm that this actually happened. So I don't think we need to investigate this any further. It exists.
Okay. People are saying civet coffee. Yeah, it's
that's the tea, sis. That's the tea.
I could have. I like learning things, but I feel like that's one thing that I could have gone my life without knowing.
Well, I got some good news for you, buddy. I made it up to be an asshole. I'm sorry.
Well done.
I really got you with that?
I was like right on the border. I was like, maybe he's mistaking this for coffee. I was like trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here. And you almost sold me.
You know what? I think sold it as somebody who just loves fucking with people and like tries to make an art out of it, is the fact that I was like, I think they're Tibetan or they're from Nepal. Like, I'm not sure. They're from the Himalayas. I'm not really sure. But like the kind of me not being certain about it actually made you believe it, give it a little bit more credibility, I think.
Okay. You know what it is?
What?
So usually what sets off my BS radar is someone gets way too detailed about something that's absolutely absurd. And like that actually is a bit of human psychology, where if someone's lying, they add more details than they need to a lot of the time. Like if someone's accusing them of lying, then they'll add tons and tons of details.
Right.
And that's like a tell. It's not 100%, right? It's not 100%, but it's common. And you masterfully gave just a little bit. You didn't like go super into detail. You just said, "Oh, this is a thing. I think that they're from here." That's what did it.
How many people Googled it? How many people actually went Googled it?
I didn't want to Google it because I wanted to figure out if it was real or not, just like from chat and like my own like memory.
Oh, it is. What's up,
what helped?
Coyotes? Yeah.
What helped is that you couched it in something that is real, right? Like
the Civet Coffee. Yeah,
the Civet Coffee.
That was key. That was a deliberate decision.
It's genius.
Well, it was inspired. I was aware of the cat shit coffee, which I'd actually had once, and it was like it just tasted like coffee, but a little bit. You could tell in like the back of the tongue, the back of the palate, that something was a little bit different. It did not taste like shit, put it that way.
Okay.
But being that existed, I was like, well, how do we know there could be monks out there that are doing this. We don't know that. That could be going on. That could happen. There could be these batshit crazy monks that are sitting up in the fucking mountains, nothing to do all day, and they're like, what if I just eat the tea leaf and then we brew the shit? And they're like, we got nothing better to do. Fuck it, let's try it. That could have happened. That absolutely could have happened. If it's not happening now, it could have happened a century ago. It could have happened. Dude.
Oh, Tibetan monk tea.
You like it?
Shit tea
like
monk.
Yeah, it's totally fake. I'm sorry. It's a little earthy. And yes, this is Dark Side Phil. Someone in chat thought that I was Dark Side Phil, so I'm just going to go ahead and confirm that. I am Dark Side Phil.
Come on, guys. He told the lie so well, there's nothing I could do.
This game has a glitched jump mechanic. Fuck, I love that.
Glitch truth mechanics.
So, Fred, you are enjoying Animal Crossing New Horizons. We should talk about video games, since I stream video games primarily, video game content creator primarily, right? You want me on your show, I guess, to talk shop a little bit. I don't know.
I actually, my goal wasn't to bring people on to be like, hey, talk about this thing that you do. This isn't an interview show. This is like, hey, I'm drinking tea. Come and chat with me.
All right, I'm going to talk about Animal Crossing anyway because I fucking love it. I know you do too.
Oh, I do too. I'm loving it.
You get my gifts I sent you. I sent Fred some cute shit in Animal Crossing.
I did, and I'm using them.
Tell him what I got you. Tell him what I got you. Tell him what I got you.
You got me a tea set.
Got him a very cute tea set.
You did, yes. You got me a cute tea set, and then cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar to go with it. A little cup, which is called a coffee cup, but it looks like a teacup, which leads me to believe that there actually might be teacups. And Fred sent me a number of things too, and I was upset because I had opened it right before I started my stream, and I know that.
I know which one you're talking about.
I really enjoyed seeing this.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I start up Animal Crossing, and I leave my little house, and my mailbox is flashing, and I open it, and there's a letter in there from Fred, and it says, in like alternating caps, but all the words are spaced out, all edgy like. It says, "For the bodies,"
and it was on a scrap of paper too,
like a ransom note, type of a fucking thing, right? So I'm like, what the fuck could that be? And I opened the gift, and guys, it was one of those horizontal freezers, you know, where people do put bodies in those. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great.
I saw that, I was struck by inspiration.
I put it in my house immediately.
I'm so glad.
But yeah, I'm glad you're having fun with Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, I'm having a good time just playing, half an hour a day, not getting super, not playing for 6 hours. Like I definitely did that toward the beginning, and now I'm like, I treat the game more like a bonsai, where every day I do just a little bit more.
That's how you're supposed to play that game. That's how that game is meant to be played.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, this is what people don't get. Like, because I remember, like, okay, everybody remembers on Twitter whenever there was a Nintendo Direct, the fucking summoning circles, and everybody was like, Animal Crossing is going to be the second coming of Christ, or I guess Lucifer. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. We need Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is going to fix our lives. Animal Crossing is going to cure my depression. And people were talking about how it was going to change their lives. I saw a Photoshop of somebody like emptying a bottle of Prozac, and little Animal Crossing villagers were coming out. And I can't wait for Animal Crossing to come and completely cure my fucking depression. And I remember thinking, like, man, don't put that on these Animal Crossing characters. Don't put that on Isabelle. Don't put that on Tom Nook. It's like how streamers sometimes, like, people think we're therapists, and they'll come and chat and be like, I've been having a really hard time, and I'm depressed, and or they'll send you an email, and it's like, I want to help you. I care, but I can't. I'm not a therapist. It's kind of like an unfair thing to put on somebody, right?
Right. It's
and they're putting it on Tom Nook, and I don't think he's equipped to fucking cure people's depression. But they're just trying to put that on him, and he's shouldering it like like the hero that he is, right?
Oh, here, check this out.
But the point is, you are not supposed to know life Animal Crossing. You
Right.
cannot binge Animal Crossing for fucking 6 hours a fucking day. It's not possible. There's not enough content. That's not the way that Nintendo wants you to play it.
Right.
I mean, I've been doing it because, well, most of us have no choice now because of the fucking quarantine.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, hey, they made it a little bit better. I think those Nook Miles thing actually go a long way in being like, oh yeah, man, you could sit there and play that for probably longer than you could have played New Leaf, because you could be like, all right, I'm gonna try to earn some miles.
For sure.
But outside of that,
Check
it's
this
Animal
out.
Crossing.
Check this out, stream. The leaves are starting to unfurl. You can see, like, this is sort of a mid-range, I'd say, like, white tea. It's really tasty. I love it. But, like, if you gave it to a tea connoisseur, they'd probably be like, yeah, this is mid-range. Because the leaves are a little bit, like, broken up a little bit.
Mid-range.
But
Yes, people
see,
did
like,
not
they're
think about the
unfurling.
consequences of the summoning circles.
No, they
Okay?
didn't.
You cannot just summon Satan for one thing. It's a monkey's paw, man. And there were a lot of summoning circles. So,
There were.
you done fucked up, is what I'm saying. Okay.
Mhm.
So, how is your quarantine going?
I mean,
Speaking of that.
I can't really. It's so much business as usual. Just I go out occasionally, right? I am sad that there are a few places that I enjoyed going that I can't really go now, but it doesn't. I spend a lot of time just inside working anyway.
Most YouTubers and streamers that I know, myself included, just in general, rarely leave their fucking homes. So
Yeah, I mean, it's where you work. I mean, you could say
Yeah.
the same thing about someone who commutes to work. It's like, damn, you spend a lot of time at the office. It's like, yeah, that's because it's where I work, right? It's
Right. I mean, I could go for a haircut. I kind of look like Saddam Hussein when they found him, in the invasion of Iraq, when he was like hiding out in like a rat hole and they finally pulled him out. That's more or less what I look like right now. But other than that, it's business as usual. I'm worried about some of my, my family members who are, at higher risk,
Sure, of
or,
course.
or whatever. I got. How many people here have like the boomer father, who's just like fucking not taking this seriously at all, or any boomer relative? My father is he's so cavalier about this, right? He's just like, so what? You get a sick, you take a Tylenol or whatever. You get a little bit of sick, you're gonna take some Tylenol, and then you go back to work. You shut your fucking face. He's really saying that shit, and I'm like, you are not paying attention, or you are paying attention, and you're willfully fucking ignoring it. Like, you know what? You're being stunad. We have any like Italian Americans here who have heard the term stunad? This is Stunad City over here. He is beyond fucking Stunad. And not to be insensitive about it, but what was one of the first countries to fucking get the biggest outbreak? The one that my father, the one that my father is from. I feel like that's not a coincidence. Excuse me. Sorry. But I saw a tweet. It was like, you want to blame China, but could we ask the Italians why they were hopping all over the globe like they were playing Super Mario World? Because that's exactly what they would do. I'm sorry. Before anybody jumps down my throat, I am, as an Italian, okay, I can say these things. It's fine. All right. But Fred, you are not allowed to call me a spaghetti slurper. That's our word.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I see a number of people in chat going through a similar experience with some relatives.
Yeah, my parents are fortunately taking it quite seriously, and so they're being prudent. No, they're staying home. They're okay.
Them.
Yeah, they're fine. They're just like, yeah, we'll just hang out. And my brother's work has like closed down for the quarantine.
Oh, good.
And Elise, his wife, some of you guys might remember Elise McCall. She's the one who made the Down the Rabbit Hole logo. She works from home too, so she's okay. So thank goodness.
It works out.
Also,
I mean, I'm a little bit of a wreck. Go ahead, sorry.
I'd like to give a shout out in the chat, Shnibata Bobin. That guy has been with me since my Twitch days, when I was like trying to make it on Twitch, and he was like there for so many streams. He like Shni is the OG. Like you might have been there since the Digital Homicide video, but like Shni, and this is not to demean anyone, but he's been there literally since before Down the Rabbit Hole even happened. And I don't doubt that, and that's not me diminishing anyone enjoying Down the Rabbit Hole. That's not, or saying like, oh, they're a bigger fan. It feels weird to call my viewers fans.
You know what it is, man? It's like there's people that are there for the content, and then there's a few people that are there for you. You know.
Well, I mean, it's different now because Down the Rabbit Hole isn't really about me.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Which I prefer. I like it a lot better. I can handle it a lot better than I could on Twitch, where the person is so much farther forward. I don't know how you do it. I was saying that. Yeah, you were listening, right?
I was listening to that.
Yeah, I do not have the stamina for it. And you're pretty introverted, I think. Right? Like overall.
As a person?
Yeah.
As a person?
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you get your energy from being away from people.
Oh yeah. Oh, I need long periods of recharging, man. I find people very, very, very exhausting. But I do generally love people. I say it all the time. I hate people, but that's a bit of a meme. You know what I think is extra exhausting to me, and this is a big part of the reason why I fell into this career path.
Right.
Is because fucking dude, I can't stand physically being around most people.
Right, sure.
Physically is different. You got to remember that. Yeah. I'm thinking about like all the jobs I had in my I had so many jobs.
Yeah.
Coming up, man. I think back, and the amount of people I worked with or worked for that I actually liked, I fucking can count on one hand. You know what I'm saying? Like almost everybody I worked with fucking just sucked, and you have to when you're working a 9 to 5 or any other kind of job where you have coworkers, you have to see these people, every day, and they get under your fucking skin. And I don't know, I don't have that temperament where, a lot of people have, where they're able to not drop kick Karen from accounting or fucking Karen from HR out of a fucking 3rd story window.
Right.
Because she was making this sound while she was reading an email.
Yeah.
Let's see here. No, I'll kill you. No, I'll just fucking kick you out the window. I don't have it. Like at the very, I lost several jobs by cursing out my boss. Like I can't just cursing out customers. I lost the job cursing out a customer. I can't take shit from people. And in my fucking chat room, when somebody gives me shit, they just get fucking banned. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to, what's going on in reality. And one of the jobs I had for a while before I came into this was a security guard. Because when I was a security guard, I sat in a booth all day and I didn't have to fucking see any, and I did overnight shifts. So I didn't have to see anybody ever. I was just by myself in peace.
Right.
And that job was good while it was good. I ultimately lost that job too. The people I worked for were scumbags, and that ended up being a problem.
I remember hearing the McDonald's story.
That was Wendy's.
The Wendy's, excuse me.
Yeah,
the Wendy's salad
Wendy's.
story. Jesus.
Which one? The foot lettuce? The Wendy's foot lettuce?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are you talking about?
The Wendy's.
Number 15. Wendy's foot lettuce.
I see people in chat, dark parties here. Hello. I'm seeing people, and I'm so sorry that I can't acknowledge everyone. I mean, this is one of the things about streams, right? And it's why I'm just doing this series for 7 days, for like an hour or two at a time, is because I feel like a jerk, because I want.
I know.
This is my problem, right? I have a lot of friends, but with all of them, I want to give them my undivided attention, because I feel like that's what I want to give people, but it's so draining. It's so mentally draining that there are times where I don't talk to a friend for like 2 weeks, and it's like, hey, we haven't talked for a while, and it's like, I know, and I feel like a dick. I just do not have the energy for it.
So when you have a chat with a couple hundred people, at least, which are kind of, looking for your attention, you start feeling kind of spread thin after a while.
Well, what is it? My one of my favorite metaphors that I've ever read was in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring. I feel like butter spread over too much bread.
That is a really good way of putting it. And when you do it consistently, you find little ways of managing that. Like I work very hard at that, because I'm like that too. I don't want anybody to feel neglected or whatever, because I'm very grateful to these people that they allow me to do this with my life. It's a privilege for me to be able to do what I do, and I'm very grateful for it. But it can get exhausting, especially when you do it consistently. And, in order to succeed at it, I would say it's pretty important to do it consistently. I mean, one of, I'm good friends with Vinny Vinesauce. Most of you know him. And he's, one of the biggest Twitch channels. Dude, I could count on one hand the amount of vacation days like I've seen that guy take since I've known him, which is something like 15 years. He's been streaming for 10. I met him in 2003. He's been streaming for, I think, his 10th year of streaming, not just on Twitch, but on, Justin TV and shit like that. 10 years of streaming. This guy's been streaming for 10 years. And I think I fucking went to like the Jersey Shore like twice in that entire time. The guy streams like 5-6 days a week. And yeah, I mean, I can't stream that much, I don't know how he does it, but and he's doing the band thing. I'm in a band with him. Most of you know Red Vox. That's I play drums for him in the band. And which leads me to a question I wanted to ask you, Fred. When were you going to tell me that you had an album out?
Yeah, that happened. I was going to tell people tomorrow when Ryan Probert comes on, the composer for Down the Rabbit Hole. We just released an EP, and you spoiled it. No, it's out now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. FYI, everyone, I improvised on the hurdy-gurdy for Ryan Probert for some of his compositions.
I just saw it on your Twitter page. So that's like, you played hurdy-gurdy. I guess you want to talk about it with him, so maybe save it for tomorrow.
A little bit, yeah. It really was his project. I just improvised. He gave me general direction for the hurdy-gurdy, and then I did my best to follow it.
Oh, so you just wasn't. See, all right. We're not gonna talk about. Don't want to talk about. What are the video games you're playing? Let's change tack, because you should save that for him. It's his, he worked on it. It's his thing. I don't want to hog all that. So. Gosh.
Okay. I've been playing a lot of Planetside 2.
I know that
I mentioned that yesterday. I've been playing Animal Crossing, obviously. And I also, before Animal Crossing, was playing a lot of Breath of the Wild. I was doing a playthrough, no teleport playthrough.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, you told me about that. How's that going? How long is that going to take?
It's not actually that much longer, I don't think. It's just, okay,
really?
Well, this is here right in front of me. I guess I'll do this now. Right? It doesn't
kind
really
of doing
lengthen.
Things sequentially.
A little bit,
Like whatever's closest to you, that's your next destination, right?
Mhm.
Probably, I would imagine, with some backtracking, because man, what
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge map! So many points of interest on it, right?
Oh yeah, sometimes it's absolutely worth it that you grab your horse and you ride all the way back to something, and it's like it's a trip, but it's an absolutely doable trip a lot of the time.
Yeah, riding a horse is very fun in that game. You
It
should get
is.
the motorcycle for that playthrough.
Oh yeah, I that's something that I definitely am going to do. I'm thinking I kind of played it weird because I got the ancient saddle, which lets you summon your horse to you. But I feel like I was doing that for a while, but I feel like it breaks a lot of what makes that playthrough powerful because you end up in a high position, and typically, you're in a high position in Breath of the Wild, and you're like, ooh, there's something down there. I'll just fly down, and I'll teleport back up, later on. But you have to think about your horse. How are you going to get back to your horse? Because when you're on your feet, you're vulnerable. Like, you follow the trail on the horse, something attacks you, something accosts you, you can just ride right past it. You spend a couple spurs and you're past the danger. But when you're on your feet, you get worn down. You're losing weapons. You're losing health. The health is less of a big deal because you can always, I always have full pockets. But
yeah, it's a cool idea. Just giving yourself a little arbitrary kind of a challenge, make the game a little bit harder. I had just noticed, my dude, that Risk of Rain got an update.
Right. God, I need to get back to that game too. Goodness.
Yeah, me and Fred, big Risk of Rain fans. We've
been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, we played it on my Twitch channel a bunch together. That's the thing me and Fred will do sometimes is just stream something on my Twitch channel together. Like we done Planetside 2 recently. Yeah, we did Risk of Rain a bunch of times.
I was really happy. Yeah, you were saying I'm enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would, and I was just like, oh, I'm so glad.
I had a good time with that. Fred introduced me to Planetside 2. It wasn't even on my radar at all, and he was like, "You should check this game out with me." We had a really good time. But
in Planetside 2, I chiefly am a Mag Rider driver. And I have a maxed out Mag Rider with, even the weapons are maxed out. And I've got a Sauron on top. And so I chucked him into the turret on top. And he's riding around with me. I'm driving with my main cannon. And he's got the laser cannon up top. And you were having a good time.
Oh, yeah, just riding around in the turret. I like having minimal responsibility in a situation like that. So me just calling out enemies and lighting them up. Light them up. That's enough for me.
The big battles,
if I was driving the tank, we would just be flipping it constantly, so that's fine.
The big battles are very chaotic, and there's a lot of input all at once.
How about Doom Eternal?
Have not played that? No, I have not.
Dude, I'm having so much fun with that. That's one of the games I'm streaming on my channel right now. I'm gonna do a full playthrough on normal mode, which usually games like that I have to put on baby Kotaku journalist mode because just truth is, and play the secret close to the chest, I'm not that good at video games as much as I love them. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stream that tonight. I'm thinking maybe after we do this, I might pop over to my channel and do some Doom. Although I am a little bit apprehensive about it because I haven't played it in about a week, and I'm somewhere in the middle of the game where that difficulty curve is becoming less of a curve and more of a brick wall. So I'm worried about being rusty plus jumping back into a part of the game that was harder.
Right.
I think it might be a little bit of a rough and tumble type of a thing. But yeah, apparently it has multiplayer too. And in the multiplayer, Fred, you can be the demons. You could be the Doot.
What? I can be a Doot?
You can be a Doot Revenant. But you do have to buy. There's a DLC where you could reskin the Doot, and he has the horns on his back, like in the meme.
I saw that the model was going around, and I assumed that it was official because it was official. Consistent.
It's official.
With the art style.
Though I was disappointed to learn that, and I paid $80 for like the extra super special collector's fucking edition with the season pass, whatever the fuck.
Right.
I had thought that I was going to be able to reskin all of the enemies, all of the, when you're in single player. I thought it was going to reskin all of the Revenants into Doots, and it doesn't. Like it's only for multiplayer. I was kind of bummed out about
Aw.
that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it was a little bit lame, but I guess I'm over it now. I guess you didn't like it, Judge Gudron. You're talking about the multiplayer. I'm gonna play this multiplayer, if not just for the fact that I spent money to have that Dude Revenant.
Get your money's worth. God damn it.
Yeah.
I've been
having a lot of fun. I'm ripping and I'm tearing and I'm furiously masturbating. It's furiously.
swerving. It's vigorously up until the very last iteration where it's furiously.
Can I point something out to the chat real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, this refined, elegant, distinguished gentleman, this is a beacon of learning and knowledge, knows every one of the lyrics to that song by heart.
No, not yet. I just know most of them.
Give him a little sample. Give him. Or is that too lowbrow for your YouTube channel?
What is it? Driving and I'm speeding and I'm vigorously masturbating, swerving. Like, it's not even in tune either. That's the best part. Is like the music's going, and he's just yelling the lyrics.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. That's one of those talents. It's a good thing there's room in your brain for that, right?
Uh-huh.
That couldn't be better occupied by something important. It's a good...
No, you misunderstand it. Since I was born, that corner has been reserved for that song.
For stupidity.
And only now is that song claiming its rightful place.
Judge Gudron says that you hide your degeneracy well.
Oh, shucks,
Tell him about the
you.
audio test that we did prior to the stream.
No.
The audio test. When
No.
we wanted an audio test?
No.
I'm
That's
gonna
okay. It was purposefully things that I shouldn't say on stream.
All right. All right.
Purposefully, like, gross out. Come on. In my defense, you definitely started that.
How? Excuse me. No. So.
No.
Please. It's just.
No.
I'll keep it very tame. I'll keep it.
Mike, no.
All right, I'm not. All right. It's your YouTube channel. If you shut me down, I'm gonna respect that. If you shut me down, I'm gonna respect that.
Say it on your Twitch stream after this one. Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna be streaming after this on your channel, on your Twitch channel, right?
That is my plan.
Yeah.
Normally, I start my streams a little bit later, but I realized something yesterday, and it was the fact that.
No, it's not the N word. It's not. It's nothing.
No,
it's nothing offensive.
No, it's just gross.
It's just...
But I realized this yesterday because usually I start my streams around like 7-8 p.m. Eastern time. And yesterday I woke up and I had breakfast and I start playing Animal Crossing, and I'm playing Animal Crossing for like an hour. And the thing is, there was a ton to do in that day because that was when I first got KK Slider to come to your town. And when you get KK Slider, you could start terraforming and putting down paths, and there's all this new cool shit you could do, right? So I said to myself, well, I'm start putting down paths and everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, man, I could just be streaming this. Wait a minute. Oh, but it's too early to stream it. Everybody will be at work. And then I was like,
wait a minute.
no, they're not. There's nothing to stop me streaming this. So I think I'm going to start doing like some early streams randomly throughout the week if I don't have anything else to do. I'll just do like maybe some Animal Crossing around like 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern. Some Binding of Isaac. I've been wanting to do that for years, actually. Just do like the daily runs in the Binding of Isaac. It's one of my favorite games. Play a lot of that on my channel.
That's a game I have a lot of time in too. Mostly the original. I actually played the original more than I played Rebirth. Funny enough.
I never played the original.
Really?
I never played the original. No.
It definitely has that Flash game feeling to it. Like, I complete with too many things on screen. Guess you're playing at 10 FPS now. Feeling.
It's a fucking Newgrounds game, isn't it? Right? Like that's where McMuffin got his start, right? On Newgrounds.com.
Yeah.
Am I right?
It is. I'm pretty sure.
But Log G can't wait for the finale of Coliseum. I'm also playing through Pokemon Coliseum right now on my channel. I don't know if it's feel like we're kind of close. Maybe another 2 streams might do it, depending on how much I need to level grind my Pokemons. But yeah, it's a good time. So I'm probably gonna do, Doom in a little bit here. How long did you want to take this?
I mean, I feel like we're I feel like we're coming to a pretty good closing point. I expected these streams to go like hour 30, 2 hours maximum, but less was like a goal, sort of.
All
but
right,
I've still got plenty of tea. So.
Oh yeah, finish your cup, man. No, by all means. I'm not in a rush to get out of here. I just wanted to know how long you were thinking about running it for.
Yeah, why don't you stick around for another like 15 minutes, and then I'll like finish up these leaves while I read super chat and hang out with chat for a little bit.
Yeah, I could stick around for as long as you need me to. I'm a sticky guy. Very, very greasy.
I believe you.
I'm Italian. I'm an Italian.
I wasn't saying that because you're Italian. I was saying it because it's just you.
I'm an Italian with who's a gamer. Okay. So I mean, take that for what it is.
Not even a girl gamer.
No, but I don't know. You think grill gamers have better personal hygiene than male gamers?
I remember Nicholas PX made a neat girl gamer character that was just like, yeah, that actually seems about right. I think that I get the feeling, I have no statistics to back this up, but I feel like the hygiene there is the same across the board.
Well, maybe, but try to keep in mind that gamer girls tend to take baths, if not just to sell the bathwater.
Oh, stop.
So just based on that fact, they might be just a little bit cleaner than the guys.
Stop.
I think the market for the guy gamer bathwater is probably a lot smaller. If you think about it.
I don't want to think about it.
No, you're thinking about it now.
No, I'm not thinking about it.
Oh, you're thinking about it. It's like, don't think of a pink elephant or whatever. Don't think.
Nope. I've never pushed against a thought so hard in my life.
Yeah, well,
I
was gonna
my
bring
face
this
isn't
up.
on stream, but if you could see, I'm straining.
I meant to bring it up before when we were talking about that weird house, but you were floating the idea of maybe doing want to do a Warrens on that house that guy was making. But you got to refresh my memory on that.
The Grover House, right? Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, before I did the Per Cat Cafe, part of the reason that took so long was because I spent a bunch of time trying to dig into the Grover House, and I just found nothing. There's the thread on Twitter. The archives are like purged of a lot of negative comments because that was part of the problem. The person who made the house was also an admin, and so he just deleted everything. There was a petition to get rid of him, but like there's just
get rid of him from his own page where he is an admin.
Right, just like de-admin him, please. Like they're begging the administration to get rid of him.
Oh, so there's not enough material there to really dig into it.
Not anymore. Because, well, the Grover House was inept, absolutely, and there was some really funny stuff. But it's like, it's not really exceptional in that way. What was more important was its like cultural importance to something awful. Because it's less about the Grover House itself. It's ugly as sin, right? But
you did show me pictures. It was like, what?
Yeah. It's kind of impressive, but
it is.
Point being, it's more about like people laugh at it more because people were making fun of this guy, and this guy was a complete like. Not only was he an I am very smart candidate, but he also like not only was he a huge jabroni, and I mean that in the true sense of the term. He's a jabro, like he's a poser. He was a poser, something fierce. In the true sense of that word, like nobody liked him, and so it was just a way to poke fun. Like, and now he's doing something completely ineptly.
So I'm using the word in the true sense too. I mean, what are you talking about?
We're a couple of jabronis. Again, ever since I heard the Tomodachi Life singing of that, it says we're a couple of jabronis. That's always how I think of it at first.
Japanese, yeah. Instead of the actual pronunciation, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I've got probably a couple more steeps out of these leaves. Honestly, I could keep steeping these leaves for a long time.
Do it. Like I said, I got nowhere to be, man. I'm locked inside. Someone in chat corrected me before, by the way. Saddam Hussein was not found in a rat hole. He was found in a spider hole. I cannot imagine what the difference would be. But, I mean, I guess rats and spiders, they make different kinds of holes.
I think that spider hole is a technical term, maybe.
What does spider hole mean?
That's a good question.
It's not the hole that the web comes out of in their bum?
But
I think that's how that works.
Why do you always... I feel like you hear the word hole and you always go to orifices first.
That's simply not true.
That is absolutely true, and you can't lie to me this time. You fooled me once. I'll let you have that one. You fooled me once, but this time, no. I know you too well at this point.
An unfair charge.
It's perfectly fair.
Oh, there's Lou, who did the Warrens thumbnail art.
Yes, did the character art.
Let me update the Warrens cover art. Well, I mean, I don't think we're planning on doing another episode of that anytime soon.
Well, we were thinking about it. Like Grover,
I think we should certainly at least let Fred get this video
out first.
Now out of the way, and then maybe we'll look at it. But
yeah, when this stream is done, it's back to work on the video.
So how's that coming?
It's coming along pretty well. I'm having trouble focusing, but I feel like everyone is with the quarantine.
Yeah, it's a pretty distracting thing, man. I'll tell you what. I've been finding myself.
I've been less productive.
Way more scatterbrained than usual, and anybody who knows me knows that that's a lot. So, fuck. And yeah, I mean, it's between my dad being a penis, and I got I have another relative who works in a hospital. He works in one of you hear in these stories out of New York City about the hospitals just being completely inundated. Like they're out of beds. They're out of beds. They're out of ventilators. They got they're putting, they have nowhere to put the people who've passed. So they're in one of those hospitals. So I'm thinking about them a lot, and that's hard to keep that under control. But I'll tell you something that's been distracting me big time, and I've been meaning to bring this up to you because you are a documentarian. Have you heard about the Tiger King thing?
Yeah, I heard about it.
I'm sure people came to you like, Fred, Tiger King, right?
A couple of people have already. I have not seen it.
I watched it. It is a fucking roller coaster. It's a lot of drama. It seems like, honestly, it might be leaning a little bit into the over sensationalism aspect of it. Like, I think they took the salacious parts of this saga and they really spent a lot of time on them to make this just you know what it is, man? It's a tea sesh.
Yeah,
it's spilling the tea.
Those documentaries always bothered me.
I think you'll find it a little bit trashy, honestly, like knowing you. But I do think it's worth a watch, especially if just as a fan of documentaries, which obviously you are, and just if you have nothing better to do, because hey, I'd be lying if I said it didn't entertain me, because my goodness,
I actually have a lot to do. Funny enough, even media wise, I have a lot to read and play.
Good.
I'm reading through House of Leaves finally. It took me forever, but I'm finally doing that.
I've heard it. That's the longest novel ever. Am I right? Is that what the?
No, not even close.
I just pulled that out of my asshole.
It's just
pulled
really
that right
weird.
out of my asshole. Well, somebody was talking about the longest novel ever written the other day in my chat room, I think, and oh no, it was Rev. Rev was talking about it, and it had a name that was similar to that. I think. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Somebody in chat. Hold on a minute. I gotta call this out.
Okay.
El Mango de Fuego says that Joe Exotic is just Mike if he grew a mullet. That is a very not okay thing to say about me, man. That's just very not.
How could
He's
you
one of the
say something
lunatics.
so controversial yet so brave?
Yet so brave. He's one of the lunatics that gets profiled in the Tiger King documentary.
Okay, gotcha.
But,
And
yeah,
that's about Roar, right?
Roar?
Like it's about. Is it?
What's that, man?
It's a movie where, in order to make it, this family raised like large cats from cubs, and essentially made a zoo.
I don't think this doesn't have anything to do with
Okay.
what you're talking about. I don't think.
Okay.
This is just a bunch of people who have a lot of money as a result of being involved in the exotic animal trade or whatever in the United States.
Right.
Just like beefing with each other. And the fallout of all of it's absolutely crazy. And the entire time, man, you just, the documentary, it actually does this pretty subtly. It's the type of thing where it could have spent more time driving this home, but I mean, if you have a brainstem, you're gonna come to this conclusion
Right.
that ultimately, like, these animals just lose and suffer, and it's just
Yeah, it's
you end
like-
up walking away.
No matter.
Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, no matter who wins the argument, the cats lose.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of see the way that these people, they're all fucking like malignant narcissists who just, and I know how you feel about that word getting overused, but if you watch this, you're gonna have to agree. Who just kind of use these animals to satisfy their egos and things like that, and just really, your heart really goes out to these cats when you watch this, man.
Mhm.
But I can't, I had to bring it up to you because you make documentaries, you like documentaries. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm sure I'm not the first person to attempt to put it on your radar, but
I like.
it's on my mind because I just watched it.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I think I'm really particular. I'm just particular in general about the media that I consume. I like really dense media that doesn't waste your time. And if it is taking its time with something, it's for a reason, right? It's
Right, you
not
discriminate.
just. Yeah, I'm very picky. And I was talking with this. I was talking about this with Jake yesterday. We both are pretty anti-elitist, but we also are very discerning. Maybe we're kind of snobbish about our tastes. We have very particular tastes, and we have high demands.
So you're anti-elitists.
Mhm.
Is that what I'm taking away from
Yeah,
that?
we're not going to stop you from making something, but that doesn't mean that we're going to consume it when you make it.
Right, yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, me, I just watch anything, man. I'm a garbage disposal of content. Honestly, I will watch. I like cartoons. I'll watch any old doo-doo that's on. I also watch Beastars on Netflix. It's like basically.
I need to watch that. I'm reading the manga.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's quite good.
You're liking it?
It's very like the whole dynamic, not only between the characters but the world, is really uncomfortable, but in an interesting way.
That was my experience watching it, but I couldn't help but feel like a lot of the, I guess, meaningful things about the society that they've built kind of got cut from the show. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's there, but I kept getting the impression where it was like, you're building this world, but you're not giving me enough to care about it or feel invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate the anime, but and I just couldn't, like, I couldn't handle, like, what amounts to, like, furry sex scenes. I was like, that's just not, that's not for me, man. Like, there was the one scene with, like, the rabbit, like, strips. And she goes to like blow the wolf, and I'm like, I
think I got there in the manga. No, I got there in the manga where
I don't know
like
about that, man.
where like Lugosi is going to like ask for flowers, and the rabbit just assumes, oh, you're here for a beej, aren't you?
Right, that's
like
the scene.
she
That's
just
the scene
assumes
I'm
that
talking about.
Lugosi's like, what?
Yeah, that's the scene. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I didn't sign on for furry porn, man. I thought I was basically watching a Zootopia anime. Like, I didn't. I didn't know there was gonna be boobs. I didn't know there was gonna be rab boobs.
But
And you throwing
Mike, there's boobs in it.
you're throwing rabbit cleavage at me, man. I didn't know it was gonna be like that, man. I was just because I like Zootopia a lot. I think Zootopia is a great movie. And when I saw that on Netflix, I was like, oh, so that just looks like a cute, like an anime, but kind of like Zootopia. That'll be a fun romp through the. Nope, not what it was. Nope, it's dark. It's fucking dark, man.
Yeah, like Beastars, I see where it's going, and I'm just like stealing myself for it.
You know what you would enjoy, man? If you're not gonna watch the anime anytime soon, watch the opening sequence to it because
I've
they
seen
did
it. It's great.
Stop motion. I love it.
It's
I love that.
fantastic.
I'm a big fan of stop motion in general. Claymation and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm worried that that's kind of dying a little bit. I think that's sad.
I maintain that the movie Coraline was better than the book.
I wasn't even aware there was a book.
Yeah, there's
Coraline,
a book. It's one of those books that elementary school teachers make their kids read. You know, like Holes is in that same genre.
Okay, yeah.
What else?
Did
Did they do that to Ender's Game? They did that to Ender's Game, even though it wasn't a young adult novel. Ender's Game was not a young adult novel. That was a full adult novel, but the main character was a kid, and so everyone mistook it for a young adult novel.
James the Giant Peach was something that we were encouraged to read when I was a kid.
That's another one.
That had a fantastic claymation movie. I loved that movie when I was a kid, man.
They didn't do that to Artemis Fowl, did they?
I don't know that one.
Artemis Fowl was something I was really into when I was little. But then, like, everything changed in 6th grade when I read Dune. Because then I was like, you know, there's a whole other level of book out
Literature.
there. Right.
Dune raised the bar for you. Right?
It did. Yeah, Dune is really important to me in terms of, like, my growth, my personal growth. Because reading that book was... It's what elevated my taste, I feel. And, like, made me start demanding more for my media.
Dude, Dune... I didn't read Dune till later in life. You want to know when I read Dune?
Sure.
And I'm talking the entire series. I'm talking about the 5 books that Frank Herbert wrote, and then the three that his
6.
son wrote.
Frank Herbert wrote 6.
Frank Herbert wrote 6.
Yeah,
and then his son.
Dune, Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune, and Chapter House Dune.
Right. So I've read those, and then his son, and then he had died at that point, right? Without getting to kind of finish the story.
Well, that was kind of his philosophy was that there never is an end, like, and so he just kept.
That's kind of one of the main themes of the entire story, right?
Well, one of the main themes of the story is that, the story, like, humanity will end if it doesn't spread out across the galaxy, like if it doesn't keep expanding. It has to be. Humanity has to be completely separated from one another because the fear was that one great event could wipe out humanity if it was all under one banner. And so the goal was, like, scatter humanity so that one great event won't be enough to completely snuff out the race.
And that's why I've always honestly believed that space travel is kind of important. You know, you can say what you want about Elon Musk. He's quite a fucking character, but he's pretty solid on that belief too. And that's one of the things about him where I'm like, not enough people are saying that. He's one of the only public fucking, figures who's outspoken about the fact that we have to fucking colonize space or whatever. But anyway, I wanted to pick your brain about this thing in particular. I feel like
Okay.
I did already, but I don't remember the conversation. So chat, if you don't know the story about this, Frank Herbert was the author of the Dune saga, and I think he wrote most of them the first one was in the 60s, Fred, am I right? 60s,
Yes.
70s. And he went
50s maybe.
Really? That
No,
old?
I can look it up.
So he goes on to write these 5 very dense books. This
6.
great
1965.
sci-fi-
You were correct.
6 books.
1965.
You just corrected me like 5 times. It's 6 books. These huge, dense sci-fi epics. I think with the shortest one is over 1,000 pages. I think. And then he dies after writing the 6th book. And what had happened, and now by that point, the series already had a massive following. This was a huge franchise. Frank Herbert was, he was selling books. But his son Brian, apparently, who was part of the estate of Frank Herbert. This is the story. Now nobody knows if this is real, but according to him,
Okay.
Brian Herbert, he found a lockbox
Right.
in his dad's attic
I heard about this.
that contained a bunch of notes that was the outline for what his father intended to be the rest of the story.
Right.
So-
I did hear about this.
His son then went on to publish the three final books of write and publish the three final books of the Dune saga. And when you read those three final books, now obviously he's not his father.
Right.
But the fucking whiplash in just the skill, tone, prose, storycraft, dialogue, the whiplash is so intense that you don't feel like you're reading Dune anymore.
Right. I tried. The only Brian Herbert that I read. So, I think part of the problem was that they attached another author onto him, Kevin J. Anderson.
Right.
And
that's
like
true. So
that
he
probably didn't help. That probably didn't help. They wanted another name attached to it to try to sell it. That's my suspicion anyway. And man, the poor guy just doesn't have the chops. Like he's not at the same level. I tried reading the Butlerian Jihad because they allude to the Butlerian Jihad throughout all of Dune, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Right.
this is exciting.
Right.
I get to learn about the formation of the great houses.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
and
read
then
it,
I
and it's
read it.
like-
I'm just like, I don't like this is
because the Frank Herbert's Dune, right? It's all metaphysical and heady and stuff like that. And then you read this fucking guy's shit, and it's like you're reading Star Wars extended universe novels.
a little bit. It's
right?
Yeah, the action isn't clear. The characters feel kind of all over the place. The only character that I was interested in at all was Erasmus.
The robot.
The robot who was like baking in the sun for forever.
He was a great character, but again, I feel like Frank Herbert never would have fucking wrote a character like that.
Probably not. No.
And not,
it felt like
not.
a Star Wars character, or it felt. Yeah, it felt like it belonged in a different.
It was
series.
a lot more action oriented, and it was a lot more grounded.
But the action wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. But in some ways, I actually, believe it or not, I appreciated it being a little bit more grounded and a little bit less, just kind of like this abstract, like just free form, again, metaphysical stuff. Because for me, maybe I'm not as, maybe I'm just a dumbass, but sometimes that stuff was a little bit hard for me to follow in Frank Herbert's writing. But that doesn't mean that it was bad, and it doesn't mean that Brian Herbert should have done this.
Well,
and most people don't even think there was a lockbox. They think he just wanted to cash in on the popularity of his father's franchise.
Yeah, I remember one of the reasons that I love Frank Herbert, and one of the ways that he influenced me a lot, was he only ever gave you as much as you needed. Because those books are thick, but they are dense. There is not a wasted word in those books. It is impressive. And I remember, so I actually got to meet Brian Herbert.
Did you?
Yeah, he was doing a book tour for, he made a sort of integumentary book between Dune and Dune Messiah, because, Paul goes from being the Messiah to, like, this, he goes from being the Mahdi to this evil overlord, essentially. And
when he becomes
made a
worm
book.
man, right?
No. This is Leto. This is Leto becoming, or not Leto. Paul going
Right.
from being the
I read
Mahdi
these a long time.
It's
a
okay.
long
It's
time
okay.
ago. Yeah.
It's okay. No worries. But
Fred, I read these books when I was a security guard, like all of them. All of them. Meaning that I was sitting in this security booth when I was supposed to be looking at these cameras. People could have been climbing the fence. There could have been gunfights. So I had no idea because I was just sitting in there reading Dune. Like I was
yeah. No, I gotcha.
Being a security guard could be fucking boring. But anyway, go ahead.
No, and I remember I asked, I raised my hand and I there was something that was really important to me, because this was when I was younger, obviously. And there was something that was really important to me about Frank Herbert's writing. One of the ways that Frank Herbert wrote was he only gave you as much as you needed. And the example that I raised my hand, he was answering questions, and I mentioned the only description that we get of an ornithopter is that it is bug-like.
Right.
And that was really important to me, that there was space for the reader to essentially create their own image in their head.
Right.
That it's not as important to me now, but it definitely was then. And I asked him, like, how do you plan on preserving that? Like, do you plan on preserving that? Because that, for me, even back then, style was everything. There's no such thing as a good idea, only a well-executed one. And so I essentially wanted Brian Herbert to write like Frank Herbert if he's going to be writing Dune. And maybe that's wrong of me to expect that from him, but it's what I wanted at the time.
I feel like he could have tried harder. I don't know, man. It's not, like I said, the whiplash is immense when you go from, Chapter House to, I think Butlerian Jihad is the one immediately after.
No, Chapter House, Dune. No, Butlerian Jihad is the prequel.
The prequel that Brian Herbert wrote that was supposed
with Kevin J. Anderson.
Because the Butlerian Jihad took place prior to Dune.
Right. It's
they're referencing it the entire time.
Yeah, like the Butlerian Jihad is the reason that no artificial minds are allowed.
Right. Okay,
right.
My bad. Yeah. Right. And those are the 3 books that. So hold on, wait, because now I'm fucked up.
Okay.
Brian Herbert, he wrote 3 books.
But Brian Herbert's written a ton of books in the Dune universe now.
Okay, I read 3. Okay, so one of them, I did read Butlerian Jihad.
Okay.
One of them, and I think 2 that were meant to take place after Chapter House.
He made because I know that he finished, quote unquote, finished the Dune series.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Then the Butlerian Jihad was broken into 3 separate books. Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, there's Butlerian Jihad, the Machine Crusade, and
those are the
something.
Yeah, no, those are the ones I read. Those 3 are the ones that I read. Yeah. So I didn't actually fucking read whatever the fuck was supposed to happen after the Chapter House. And if I did, Fred, I don't remember it.
It's forgettable.
Well, then again, that's me too. I'm just very fucking scatterbrained, and I don't remember shit. Honestly, I just have a hard time, remembering what I ate for breakfast, man.
Yeah,
let alone most movies I watched a day later. Ask me what happened to the movie, and I don't fucking remember.
I always have a problem with names. Names are even in books, it's terrible.
But there are a lot of things from the Dune series that do stick out. That do stick out for me. Like things that that just kind of stuck with me. The whole. And I will say this because most of this took place in Brian Herbert's writing. But do you remember, because you read the Butlerian Jihad, do you remember how he went about? What was the name of the? The word had an X in it. God damn it! The whole race of people that were on that planet. Ix.
Those are just the Ixians.
The Tleilaxu. Yeah, the Tleilaxu. Do you remember how he built world built the Tleilaxu and all that? See, that was good. I think it could have been done. It's not Frank Herbert's writing. I don't know how much of it is Frank Herbert conceptually, but if I had to say what was something about that Butlerian Jihad saga that I actually kind of really appreciated. It was almost anything to do with the Tleilaxu, but...
I mean, I already thought the Tleilaxu were really cool, right? I thought that they were interesting in how mysterious they were, and I was also kind of coming into appreciating the body horror a little bit more.
Right.
But I loved their origin story of them basically harvesting people on planets and saying, oh yeah, we grew these.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Did you like having the mystery removed for you though? Because it was always
it was unnecessary. That's the problem. Is that Brian Herbert inserts all of these facts that really don't have any bearing on the main story. And while it
goes back to what you were saying about the the ornithopter, that was
right.
It wasn't necessary for him to dive into the whole
everything culture of the Tleilaxu when
It's and
I'm
oh
just
god,
glad, I'm kind
it's,
of glad he did though.
that's something that I also took to heart, is that when I read Dune, I appreciated that it was really wrapped around this core narrative, right? And everything extraneous to it was left out because we didn't need it. It's like Frank Herbert was so focused on telling, not only making a universe, but telling a story that it drew me in, because every page furthered the plot in some way. And so it's just, people call it dry, and sure, the writing is dry, but it's fast paced. Things are constantly happening. And so even if the plot is moving slowly, the plot's moving. You don't get, and that's something that bothers me about more character-focused narratives, is you get drawn off to the side with scenes or just occurrences that don't matter. They don't play any role. But like, you learn about the world of Dune because in order to understand the interactions that these great houses are having with each other, you need to know this background, right? It's like, why did they act like this? They did it. Well, it's because of this and this and this. Like, here's their history. Like, and that's what's cool. We learn about the world because it has bearing on the plot. But Brian Herbert seemed more interested in just fan service.
Wow,
and that
look,
frustrated me.
lasers. Look, lasers, cool. Look at the laser. We got lasers. We got robots and lasers and fucking gunships. And we got this and we got that.
That happened with Star
We
Trek
got wacky
Picard.
aliens.
Star
We
Trek
got wacky
Picard, from what I can
aliens.
tell.
Is that what happened?
That's I'm just watching Red Letter Media's reviews of it, because there's no way I'm giving them money to watch Star Trek. It just looks frustrating.
yeah.
It looks frustrating.
The chat is talking about Lovecraft, and I think you appreciate some Lovecraft, right? You got
Oh yeah,
some
sure, of
Lovecraft.
course. Lovecraft is really hit and miss a lot of the time, but
Yeah,
right,
there are
we
some
were-
stories that are just like, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. We were having, was it you I was having this conversation with, where like
Pew pew pew.
people
Yeah, chat.
like people were saying like Lovecraft is racist, and yeah, sure, but we know who he hated more? Hicks. He hated white trash. That's who
If you look right-
he saw them as inbred, backward,
Fish
just-
people.
yeah, fish. So
Fish people.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, fish people.
And I wanted to mention something to you. Was it to you? Who was I talking about this with? But I was talking about, like, someone was saying the shadow over Innsmouth is obviously a racial allegory, and then I kind of had a realization, no, it's not. Because at the end, there's one really, this is spoilers for anyone who hasn't read The Shadow over Innsmouth, so cover your ears for like 30 seconds. At the end of the story, the main character is revealed to be a fish person as well. He just hasn't grown into it yet, because the Innsmouth look is something that grows on you. And it turns out that he has lineage from there. And so that sort of breaks the notion that it's all about race, right? On the surface it is, but here's what I pose. Lovecraft had a lot of... Lovecraft's parents had psychological issues, and he was constantly afraid that he had inherited them. I think that the Innsmouth look is less about race and more about inheriting psychological problems and inherited traits, inherited negative traits.
So that's interesting, and that's a little bit into the mind of the author. A little bit,
I know.
right?
I'm trying. I'm not using it in the sense. I'm using that as a clue, right? Not necessarily saying because the author had this in his life, this is what it definitely was. I'm just saying, hey, wait a minute. I realized this after learning this.
It's a
Right?
theory. It's a theory. A Lovecraft
Oh,
theory.
thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. No, it's
hit that like and subscribe button, theory.
but
Sorry.
it's I feel like the racial allegory is broken by that ending. It doesn't fit anymore thematically,
Yeah, because upon the realization that, oh man, I'm one of them.
and it's starting to manifest in me.
Fred,
Yeah.
I had once dated somebody that was from the New England area, right? And this person not far at all geographically, right, from where Lovecraft lived. Okay, and this person was convinced that they were aware of the town that Lovecraft based Innsmouth on. That there's no question that Lovecraft had been to this town and based Innsmouth on this town. And I can't remember the name of the town. I want to say it's in like northeastern Massachusetts, right? Coastal town in northeastern Massachusetts.
These leaves are spent.
And I asked them, I was like, well, what's your what's your theory for that? And they said, Michael, this is going to sound fucked up, but almost everybody in this town has a lazy eye.
Oh my God. That's fascinating.
Yep, she's like they're all inbred. Like this is the town that everybody around talks about these people that they've been inbreeding for years, and you go there, almost everybody has a lazy eye or like something weird with their face. She was like, Lovecraft has been to this town, I'm telling you, and based Innsmouth on this town. And
that's amazing.
I wish I could remember the name of this town. It's just like this app, but that's just the theory, good Crusader. This is theory.
That's fascinating.
And yeah, I mean, I think especially writers in that era, they had a tendency to only write about things that they knew about. I think that only writers should only do that. But then again, if you're like a sci-fi writer, how you fucking talking about the Tleilaxu, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You need to write about things that you know about. And Lovecraft did that. I think if you read Lovecraft, you're going to see probably a really good, for most of the stories, this is barring like Mountains of Madness and things like that. You're going to see a pretty good portrait of kind of what life was like during that time period in New England.
Yeah.
And kind of what the general atmosphere was like. And yeah, people were racist. There were a lot. That's a part of it too. Unfortunately, yeah, racism was a lot more openly prevalent at that time period. But that's taking the I don't know, baby with the bathwater. That doesn't make sense.
Throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Taking the bad with the good, or whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't like it. Nobody likes it, but I mean, as far as just being like, well, we can never read Lovecraft again now. It's like, well,
I mean, like that. Separate the art from the artist at some point, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't love it. Nobody loves it, but I mean, it's as far as him as an author, I think he's like the godfather of fucking science fiction horror, isn't he? Him and Poe.
Well, that problem is sort of problematized even more when you have like a large crew. I mean, how, like, let's suppose you have a movie and a ton of, you have hundreds of people making this movie. I can guarantee you that a certain percentage of them are assholes.
Right. So if you look in the credits, you can see that the best boy actually wasn't the best boy at all. He's a Nazi.
It's or just like he yelled at a friend when he drank too much the night before, right? Like there are different levels. There are different levels of asshole all over. There's some like horrendous people in there, but you don't know.
But 90% of the people who worked on it, I mean, do we just like throw out all of their hard work because one person that was involved in it was a shithead? That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, right? Is like, does the badness of some of the crew delegitimize the work of everyone else?
Yeah, that's a rough thing.
Or do you just enjoy it only at 95% capacity after you learn that one person? It's my point isn't that you shouldn't care, because I definitely do care. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's if I know something about the person that is on the screen, is like he's a dirtbag or something.
Right.
No, he's been convicted of all these awful things. Like, of course that's going to affect my enjoyment of the movie. I'm not independent of that. My point is more that it's nuanced, and it's a modern problem. It's maybe a problem that we haven't really thought about until now, because the way that we consume media has changed a lot, where the artist used to be a lot more invisible, and now like I'm thinking like novels right now, you just read the book, and maybe you like his writing, so you read more of his books. But now, people are more present. And how does that affect
social media?
What I'm really curious about is how this affects people's consumption. Yeah, social media. It's how it affects their consumption of media. I think that that's a very complicated thing, and we're just coming to terms with it.
Lou in chat, Lou just said Hazbin Hotel, and I was just about to bring up Hazbin Hotel because that's an example of something where you had a ton of people who worked on it, right? One of them is a big shithead, but so it's like, you want to say like don't watch something like that, and this is not to talk about the quality of it or whatever, because I don't know. I watched the one episode. I think it was like all right. It made me chuckle a few times, but it's like there were a lot of really talented artists that worked on that, but because Divsy Pop sucks, does all of their hard work have to get thrown out?
I don't know that much about it, by the way, so like I can't speak to any of this. If anyone's gonna
anything that I know about it, I just said. For my part, that's all I really know.
I know very, very little. I know that there is a controversy, and that's about the extent of my knowledge of it. I've stepped back from internet drama at all for a while, for the last few months.
It's good for your mental health, right?
It's just tiring. It got tiring for me. But
then I want to bring this up real quick too. And this is maybe this is the polar opposite of that. But you have the anime, there's probably other examples of this too, Attack on Titan, which I watched the first season of it. I actually really, really, really fucking liked Attack on Titan. But then apparently I come to find out that the entire fucking thing is meant to literally be an allegory for the creator's xenophobia and hatred of, I think, specifically Korean people. And it's like, so you want, that's that's a common.
I had a friend in college who was Korean. He was one of my best friends in college. I love that man. And he said something that was very prescient. He said that Asians tend not to care about anyone. They hate, a lot of them are racist against people outside of their country, but you know who they hate even more? Other Asians. Just the Japanese hate the Chinese, hate the Koreans, hate the Taiwanese, hate everyone. I imagine all the Asians hate anyone that isn't from their country. That's what he told me. I can't verify it.
It's got to be a lot to do with history. It's got to be obviously. That's a kind of a fucking no point to say that. I imagine that's similar to, because for a long time, there was absolutely, I would say prior to World War II, that there was no amicability, or World War I rather, no amicability between France and England at all. Because of what went on, prior to that between the two countries and things like that. Most of Europe was just hating each other until there came a time where it was okay, we have to now we have to come together. It's probably something similar to that has persisted. There is a lot of xenophobia in Japan, I've been told. I've never been to Japan. I always wanted to go to Japan. Hopefully they don't hate me so much, but
whoops.
In particular, there's something relating to a lot of Koreans immigrate to Japan and they feel like they don't want them there, type of a thing. So I come to find out that the whole story, and now this is different because now you can't, like you said, separate the art from the artist, because his art is literally an allegory for him being intolerant of somebody.
It's right? And I feel like people kind of begin. I thought the part of the problem was that he may have meant it that way, but it also was expressed that way as a theme, and it was very obvious as time went on. That's what I heard. I'm not familiar with Attack on Titan or this author, but I heard that the themes became more obvious as time went on.
Yeah, I only watched season 1, and it's I
feel like a lot of people only watched season 1 or 2, right?
It's it sucks because I was watching it and I honestly loved it. I was like, man, this is an anime. I think I would really, really, really enjoy this. I think I'm going to be watching the entirety of this if I can. And then I find that out, and it's that's kind of a bummer. I mean, I don't know if it's just going to be this preachy fucking nonsense. And not only that, but as an American, I can't relate to whatever is going on over there. It's not It's like the media maybe wasn't intended to be consumed by me, type of a thing.
Right.
So,
I think that this is kind of an interesting point. This is an extra complication where you consume something from outside of your culture, and you may not be informed about the things that the themes that they're talking about, and maybe it means something to you, and that's absolutely legitimate.
Yeah, that is.
But you maybe are missing certain layers, and that's something interesting that happened a lot when I was studying literature. Was in order to understand a lot of the layers in these stories, you can appreciate it for what it is, but there's a lot more underneath the surface that readers of the time and the audience to which it was aimed would understand and appreciate. And so in that way, as we were studying literature, we also had to learn a little bit of the history of the time period, just so we could appreciate everything.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to know what's going on. One of my favorite albums of all time is Quadrophenia from The Who. I love this album. And maybe music's a little bit different, because if you don't understand something, lyrically or thematically, you can still sit there and say, man, I just love the music. I don't care. But that is a concept album. That is a story. That is a narrative. And in order for you to really appreciate it, you have to have an understanding of post-World War II England and what was happening between kind of like, not necessarily street gangs, but yes, street gangs, people who liked different kinds of music and style, the mods and the rockers, if you've ever heard that, and that's a whole history that even if I tried to understand that, I will never get all the nuance of it, because I wasn't there. I wasn't alive. I'm not British. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But I still love that album. I still love that album so fucking much. That is an incredible album. And if you haven't heard it, chat, like you want to get blown away. I mean, yes, it's grandpa rock, but I don't know, maybe take a break from your, douchecore or whatever you Zoomers listen to.
Stop listening to American metal. Start listening to Caligula's Horse.
Did you guys think that this stream, that when you heard that I was the guest, did you think it was just going to be dick jokes all day? Are you pleasantly surprised, or
was
are you
it not?
disappointed?
What was this? Was
dick jokes?
this whole conversation not just a giant dick joke?
Because
I've been misinterpreting everything we've been talking about. If that's not the case,
you had a false pretext.
I thought that literally every sentence we were saying was like, haha, this is actually dicks.
Like a coded dick joke.
Right,
because,
yeah, very coded in some cases, but I thought I was following along okay, but no, have we actually been talking? Oh no.
It's okay, man. It's all right. You know what? Let me lie to you. This entire thing was an elaborate dick joke. Does that make you feel better? I don't have the intelligence to have a conversation that isn't somehow coded as dick jokes. And let me put that. Okay, the truth of it is, if anybody is thinking about, anybody who isn't familiar with me, who's thinking about checking out my content, you have been, you've been misled, because this is not going to be like this on my channel. We do not have enlightened conversations about topics on my channel.
Although the bootleg show,
let me put it that way.
That bootleg thing had a few like deep moments.
Yeah, but that's because you were there. Okay, 98% of the time you're not there, and I'm just sitting there going, cock. That's what goes on. And if I'm selling you on the content, all right, that's what it's like. And Fred, let me just really quickly take this opportunity to thank you, because, dude, it's a big deal that you would have me do this thing with you on your YouTube channel and have me come on as a guest and all that shit. Like the idea that somebody could be watching this right now and they think like, oh man, you know what? I think I like that guy, and I'm gonna go check out his shit. That's a beautiful thing for you to do for somebody like me and in my position. And you're a beautiful man, so thank you.
Aww.
You're a beautiful man. So I really appreciate you having me on here, man. Thank you so much.
Only from the shoulders down. That's why the camera's down here.
You have gorgeous hands. Gorgeous hands.
Oh, there's the crazy hand lady who might also be an interesting Warren's episode down the line.
Who's that?
Oh, someone who, like, She always wears gloves, and she's constantly talking about how beautiful her hands are. She's a hand model, but she's like, it's her entire life is the beauty of her hands, and it's really eerie.
She sounds like a real handful.
Oh my god! You know
Normal
what?
words, but a horse guy. What's up?
I have drank a lot of tea.
Does that tea have caffeine in it?
Well, I mean, yeah, but
So you must be
it's not
jittery
that-
as fuck.
No, I'm not. I'm actually doing okay because like tea doesn't have nearly as much caffeine. Plus, all the caffeine in the leaves come out on the first steep, pretty much.
So
That's
then you're
actually
just drinking, like, flavored water.
fun. Yeah, pretty much. Fun tip for everyone: if you want to drink tea but don't want a lot of caffeine, you can rinse your tea, steep it for like 10, 15, 20 seconds, dump that, and then do a steep. Then do a full steep. Then that'll get rid of pretty much all the caffeine.
See, I've always
all in
been
the
more
first
of a coffee guy, but I've been doing a little bit of an investigation into the tea verse, if you will. I had this killer banana nut tea that I got from.
Now that's a dick joke, right?
No, it's actually not. I swear to God, it's not. It was. It was like it tasted like banana bread, Fred. It was fucking delicious. It didn't have caffeine in it. It was, dude. See, that's the thing, man. Like usually when coffee is flavored, it's like some kind of a like gimmick. You get to the point where you're like, you're drinking one of Starbucks like fucking peppermint, candy cane peppermint fucking lattes, and you're like,
Right.
I'm not drinking coffee anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But with tea, it's like when they do flavored teas, it's subtle. You know what I mean? And it's
I have a tea.
It's different.
I have a tea
Right.
gripe.
Go.
There's a tea shop that I sometimes shop at for cheaper tea if I just want something. It's like, get my shot, sure. I'm so annoyed by this. Everyone seems to think that hibiscus equals good herbal tea. Literally every tea that they have has hibiscus in it, and it's just like, stop. Like, I don't want every tea, because hibiscus is one of those flavors that just overpowers everything else. It's like hibiscus first, and then everything else might sort of be there underneath it. But just like the presence of it gets rid of everything else.
I thought hibiscus was a house plant.
You're thinking, is it?
Isn't hibiscus like a thing people fucking keep on their desk? What the fuck? That's a tea? You can make tea with that?
I think you're thinking of something else.
Fred, have you ever tried to dip your balls in the tea? Like literally teabag the tea?
Mike?
I need to
use the restroom.
No, listen, dude, they're doing it on TikTok. The kids are doing it. They say you can taste through your ball sack.
I'll be right back. Cover for me. You have 2 minutes.
Try it out.
No, I'm leaving you alone to think about what you've done.
Just alone with my thoughts. Fred, that's a really scary thing for me. Please don't do this to me. So hibiscus is it's a flower. Oh, it's okay. So, you can make tea out of dandelions. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just put a bunch of weeds to steep in the teapot. Yeah, ficus. Yeah, let's just brew tea with ficus leaves. Fred, did you seriously not hear about the TikTok craze? Did he really leave? Guys, he's doing it. He's actually doing it. He's doing it. He's gonna get tea all over his nuts. Oh, he's gonna get tea all over his nuts. You know why he's doing it, guys? Because he's a man of science. He believes in trial and error, control group. Okay, he's not gonna let a bunch of Zoomers on TikTok tell him that you could taste with your ball sack. No, he's gonna try it himself. He's gonna actually do it himself. This crazy bastard. Wow, what a fucking hero. Not all heroes wear capes, folks. See,
Here's the reality of it. There are, in fact, and this is medical, you could look this up, there exist taste buds in the scrotal tissue. There are taste buds in your scrotum. That's true. That's actually accurate. You could look it up. Right? If you don't believe me, you could easily investigate this with a quick Google search. I would be careful with the phraseology of it. However, scientists have confirmed that it is impossible to taste tea through your nutsack. So, Fred, if you're back, I regret to inform you that you dipped your balls into tea for no reason. But it was an important experiment.
Hello, Mike.
He's still gone.
No, I'm
here.
here.
How was it?
I'm here.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I just put my headphones back on.
So, there are taste buds in your ballsack. That's medical. I swear to God. This is not like before with the monk shit tea. I swear to God, Fred.
What?
Yes. This is a medical fact. All right, I'll Google it. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
I want you to quote something.
I will. Taste buds in balls. Okay.
That's what you're putting into Google.
That's what I'm putting into Google. All right. I don't recommend anybody else do it because there are a lot of pictures of soggy balls here. Okay. Okay. So here's the article. People are dipping their testicles in soy sauce. So here's some science. And this is from ScienceAlert.com, the only place to go for science. And chat, that just reminded me of those sea creature articles that I have to turn Fred on to before we end. Do not let me forget about that.
Wait, Mike.
Okay. People have been putting soy sauce on their testicles to see whether their nether parts can detect the salty condiment and recording their reactions for the benefit of social media, particularly TikTok. Yes, tasticles, Mel. +2. How did we get here in the year of our Lord 2020, you ponder? In short, the internet has been playing telephone with some actual science, originally published in PNAS in 2013. Guys, I shit you not. There's a science paper called PNAS, okay? And that's an anagram, PNAS. Oh, you can't make this shit up, folks. When Badrick Mossiger and our colleagues studied a mouse study on taste receptor involvement in male fertility, they didn't expect it to launch a TikTok trend 7 years later. Now, male testes do have taste receptors, according to various sources. TikTok user Regan kicked off the trend upon discovering this fact, asking people with testicles to dip your balls in something. It's for science, and I must know. Unfortunately, the source she cited was Daily Mail, whose report on the original study made some ballsy claims. The distinction here is that testicles don't have taste buds, as in clusters of large taste receptor cells, and they can't taste soy sauce. But with surprising vigor, the science quickly went from this. Genetic loss or pharmacological blockade of testes expressed taste causes male sterility, to this in a press release. Inactivation of test genes causes male sterility, to this in the Daily Mail article. Testicles have taste buds that can detect sweet flavors, and they're vital for fertility. So the Daily Mail tried to sensationalize what would have been an otherwise very boring article about how there are taste receptors inside of testicles to the point where kids on TikTok started dipping their nuts in soy sauce.
I hate pop science so much.
I fucking love science, don't you?
Yeah, science. Your balls have taste buds. That's science. What?
So receptors endowed with the unique capability to detect the 5 basic tastes are scattered throughout the human body. According to a 2013 review, we found them in places such as the digestive system, respiratory system, brain, testes, and spermatozoa, but this does not mean you can taste things with your genitals. According to this researcher, these are not taste buds. They don't activate the gustatory cortex in the brain. In fact, these rogue taste receptors don't always appear to serve a function at all, which is typical of how evolution goes about doing things. So there you have it, Fred. Now, see, you know what this is great for right now? Whenever I make something up again, he's going to be even more confused. He's not going to know because I tell him that he could taste that there's taste buds in his balls, right? He immediately goes to the bathroom and dips his balls in his cup of tea, all right? Okay, even despite the fact that earlier I totally lied about monk shit tea, about Tibetan monk shit tea.
You seem rather convinced.
So the way that you effectively fuck with people, chat, is you have to very casually insert real things that sound unbelievable in among the things that are complete bullshit. You see the strat? You see how it works? I'm giving you a window into my method right now. All right, you see what's going on here?
Need to adjust the camera again. God damn it. There we go. God. Also, that was not a face reveal. Come on. I have mistakes video. You guys, I have videos where I have multiple videos where I show my face.
Oh, if you want to see his face, that's very easy. I'll just move my balls for you guys real quick. Let me just go ahead and lift up these nuts.
This is this is a good place to end it, I think. We've been going for a long time, a lot longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, because this was great, dude. We got into some awesome shit here. We were talking about things that weren't balls for a little while, remember?
Yeah, I remember those days. Those were good days.
Now, before we did this, I went to Fred and I said, Fred, is there anything like you would prefer? Cause see, now it's his YouTube channel, man. I want to make sure. Like, is there anything you don't want me to do or say or anything like that? And he goes like, no, man. If you whatever. If you talk about it, on your Twitch channel, then you could talk about it here. So Fred, I mean, if you're upset I talked about balls this much, I'm sorry, buddy, but you gave me the green light.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
This is. I feel like it was you're more of a force of nature, and it was my job to prepare for you, and I did not. I did not adequately prepare.
You should have used more sandbags. You should have put more sandbags up on the shore.
Stop referencing bags of anything. Bags, sacks. All of it.
Oh, shit. Stockart Whiteman is in the chat. Says, I don't know why, but I want to pronounce Knudsen as Knudsen.
That's actually...
Fred, have I not been doing that since I met you?
Yeah, that's the German way of pronouncing it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm Norwegian, though. It's Norwegian and Danish. That's how you pronounce it. But Norwegian is Knudsen.
Yeah, it's a fun way to do it, Knudsen. It's a good time. Mike, the Sea Creature article. Fred, I found a delightful resource. Do you remember that article about Bruno Mars?
Yeah.
Where you referenced it earlier. The Does Bruno Mars is gay?
Yeah. Maybe I should just read that on stream. Fred. Yeah.
How many people have not experienced the Bruno Mars article? Because that is, if you want to read that right now, I would love to hear you read it like in the rabbit hole narration voice. I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
How about let's make that the last thing that we do before you go, and then we'll have you sign off, and then I'll answer questions in chat for a little bit and read the super chats.
Okay, so the next time that you're on my stream, remind me. We need to get into the Sea Creature article thing because it's in the same vein. You're gonna appreciate it.
Okay. Let me see. Does Bruno Mars is gay? Let me see if I can find the whole thing. I think that this is the original website. No, never mind. Where is it? The full
I found
text.
it very easily the last time I tried to look for it because this happened on my channel too.
Slabieber. Wait.
Hold on. Yeah, we're having a dig for this.
Yeah, what the hell?
Now, man. Hold on. Does Bruno Mars is gay? Bruno Mars.
Here we go. I've got it, I think.
Oh, thank God.
I think. Hold on. Maybe? Hold on. Because it's a fairly long article. That's not it. That's only part of it.
Oh, that's just like that's the headline, I think. And then the whole article just gets better and better.
Yeah.
Dude, where is this article?
Where is it? What happened? Does someone have a link in chat, maybe?
If only you could
I think
find
people
this.
can't link in here. Let me see.
Oh wait! Whoa!
Oh, what?
No,
what?
that's not right. Oh, it's not right. Fuck.
Wait. I think... Does this have a link to the article? No.
Oh, wait, did you see the Reddit post?
Yeah, but it
Is that
doesn't
that's
have
what
it.
you're
It
looking at?
doesn't have it.
Where the fuck? This got
Where'd it go?
scrubbed
All right, know your
from
meme.
the fucking
Know your
internet.
meme. Know your meme. Let's go.
Good shit.
Because it's a fairly long article. I remember it having multiple pages.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh, come on. Why is this so hard to find?
I can't believe it. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Whoa,
Here we go.
I got it.
Gotta go.
Wait, did
Okay,
we
okay.
find it at the
I think
exact
I
same
found it.
time?
Yeah, we did. We definitely
We
did.
found it at the exact same time.
Got it.
Oh yeah, this is it.
Oh, he deleted the article. Wait, no, did he? No, I found it. I found it. I got it. Okay.
I absolutely have it if you don't.
So do I. We're good.
All right.
I've got it. Bruno Mars is the biggest at... Wait. That's
No,
not
you don't
right.
have
No,
it.
I don't have it.
I have it.
All
Hold
right,
on.
give it to me.
Here.
Give it to me.
There you go.
Got it. BrunoMars.us. Ah, yes, here it is. Okay. I think I did find it, but I screwed up. Okay, we're good. The rumor come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay? Bruno Mars is gay is the most discussed in the media in the few years ago. Even it has happened in 2012, but some of the public still curious about what is exactly happening and to be the reason there is a rumor comes out about his gay.
I love that part.
At that time, he became the massive social networking rumor. The public, especially his fans, are shocked. He just came out with his bad rumor, which is spread massively. This time is not about his music career, but his bad rumor. The rumor is out of standardize of hoax. According the last reported, this singer revealed himself as homosexual. Do you still believe or not, this rumor is really much talked by people even in a person of his fans.
So good.
The rumor comes out to the public and to be sub-news topic in the Chicago radio station. According to a CNN report, he makes he makes the confession that he is a gay. Believe or not, but at this time he said that confession, it was Sunday, 1st April, which is called as April Mob or April Fool's Day. At that moment, he also talked well that he did not make a joke. He just said that the timing is bad. I had not realized that it was April Mob, but it has been pointed out of myself. I do not want to go too public with this, as mentioned in CNN report he just said. I'm like, my brain is melting.
Yeah, dude, that sea life article I was telling you about, there's a page of just articles about sea creatures like this.
We're not even half done with this article.
Yeah, go ahead.
The word of too public makes some people curious in the studio. He was incredibly sad and ashamed of his confession. He is a talented singer and musician, but everything can be ruined rapidly with the rumor that Bruno Mars is gay.
Curios, like like knickknacks?
Yes, like curios. Yes. The public is already smashed with the rumor which is hung on their mind. The rumor became the trending topic on Twitter at the time. Especially women fans, they are really disappointed of his confession of joy. However, everything goes well, as normal as the first time, because he came back with his new confession that the rumor was a lie. In fact, Bruno Mars' success to tricked lots of people and made him as the trending topic for worldwide. Bruno Mars is gay is just a hoax.
Yeah, that sentence gave me a seizure, dude. Like, I just...
If it is happening for real and Bruno Mars is gay for sure, his career might be terrible in the future. Unfortunately, the fans are already criticized in the media that give a confession as a guy in his bright career is a big fault, and to be a guy is a bad thing to be exposed in the media. In fact, he is not a guy, and he admires women as the beautiful thing in the world. It is shown through his first single of his second album of Unorthodox Jukebox, which is entitled Lock Out the Heaven. This song has truly got inspiration by Halle Berry. He admits that is true, and he just thought that her fiancé is not offended by Bruno Mars' lyric. Bruno Mars' rise of lyric. Now everything is clear enough that this is not true about Bruno Mars is gay.
Oh, wow. Oh, good news, ladies. What a fucking... My mind is fractured. Oh, man, that's fucking bad. So, yeah, like I said, I found a treasure trove of things like this. You're going to love it. But you want to wrap up?
Let's wrap up. That's a good end.
Again, thank you so much for having me on here, my dude. This was a pleasure.
If you start, so at the end of my stream, I'll go ahead and link you. So if you start streaming, if you're already streaming, you're gonna go right over to.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick and then just maybe eat something really fast and then start a stream on my Twitch channel. If anybody wants to see some Doom Eternal, that's what I'm gonna do tonight. Yeah, and sometimes Fred comes on my channel. We were talking about that earlier. We'll read, we'll look at WikiHow articles, and we'll look at bootlegs, and we'll read bad novels and things like that. Yeah, come on down. It's a good time. Or don't. That's cool too. But you'll hurt my feelings very much. Listen, Fred. Thank you for doing this for me, buddy.
This was
because
fantastic.
like I said earlier, it's a big deal. I mean, just the idea that somebody might watch this and decide to check me out, that they wouldn't have had any idea that I existed before that. That's a huge thing that you're doing for me, like that. So, dude, thank you a lot, really.
I mean, you're helping make
man.
the stream happen. It's.
I love you, bro. So I'm trying to say, man. I love you. I love you so much, man. I love you. I love you, man.
It was good hanging out with you. It's always a good time.
It always is. It always is, man. Yeah, the first thing I do when I start my streams, I'm gonna dip my balls in soy sauce. I'm not gonna do that. That will actually.
No, you promised everyone if you go to his stream, get ready for soy balls. That's going to happen. I promise you that is going to happen.
Things are gonna get salty.
I'll catch you later, man.
Have a good night, dude. Thanks again.
Yeah. Bye, man. All right. Let's hang out with chat a little while. So here's how this is gonna go. I think I steep these leaves for 4 minutes. I bet I can get one more steep out of this. So I'll drink this cup. I'll steep it one more time, and I'll hang out and talk with chat for a little while. If you guys have questions about Down the Rabbit Hole, now's the time. Feel free. If I don't want to answer, I just won't answer. It's fine. Voice crack. This is another reason not to do long streams. Tires out the voice. But don't worry. If you want to go right now, actually, and see his stream, I'll link it in chat now. Or you just want to wait and be there for when this stream ends, I'll link it right now. Boop. There we go. So you can have that open when this stream's done. And yeah, oh god. Beaver, I know quite, my friends are quite a motley crew, for sure. Speaker Green, will I be doing any more videos on unique historical figures, like the Collier brothers or Henry Darger? I will be. I only have the next 2 videos planned. The next video is almost ready, and then I have the video after that. The one after this is more of an event. And both of them are events, really. But I definitely still have an interest in individual figures. So yes, and I have one in particular that I'm quite interested in that I will eventually make a video on. What's my favorite Red Vox song? In the Garden. I know that's like the plebeian's choice, but I really like that one a lot. Shnee's asking if I've thought... It's so good to see you again, Shnee. I was thinking about you just recently, and I was wondering how you were doing. I hope that you're doing okay, because we haven't talked a whole lot recently. As for follow-up episodes, I'm looking at a lot of them. I know the big ones that people are asking me to do follow-ups on are Darkside Phil and Chris Cham. I'm waiting on those. But I'm keeping an eye on both of them. So don't worry. I'm waiting for an opportune time. Would I do a video on DashCon? maybe. I feel like Internet Historian already did such a good job of it, my video would feel a little bit redundant. Have you ever imagined down the rabbit hole being broadcast or slightly edited on radio somewhere? I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that if like a radio program came to me and we could hash out a deal. Like, sure. I don't have any like strong negative emotions attached to it. Like it does the idea doesn't bother me, if that makes sense. We'd have to hash out a deal, of course. Like, hash out, making sure that no one's getting stiffed here. It's contracts are scary things. How do I feel about Jodorowsky's Dune? I still haven't seen that. That's the one that was like essentially going to be an acid trip, right? It was going to be a really freaky sort of almost psychedelic experience. And there was a documentary made about it. I think that's the one you're talking about. I've not seen the documentary and I don't know a whole lot about it. The T Discord, I'm a little bit afraid of spamming them. I'll talk to them, and if they're okay with me linking the Discord, I'll give the Discord link. I'll ask them first, but come back next time, and I'll have an answer for you. SCP stuff and exploration. Also, multiple people are asking me about audiobooks. If you want audiobooks, I actually make a monthly audiobook that's anywhere between like 20 to 45 minutes long. It's the $5 monthly tier on Patreon, but like if you pledge the whole backlog is there. So if you pledge $5, you can just go download all of them. I think there's more than a dozen at least at this point. So yeah, you can just like pledge $5, then go and download all of those if you want some. Hi, Connor. Favorite Edgar Allan Poe work? That's a really hard one. Edgar Allan Poe was just... Where Lovecraft was hit and miss, Poe was just hit every time. Come back to me on that one. Would I ever do an episode on Maradonia and Gloria Tesh? It's Tesh, not Techt. It's fine, though. It's one of my most requested things. For years, people have been requesting the Maradonia saga, and I'm definitely interested. I just have other things that I want to get to first right now. What should I look for in a good microphone for video making? Okay, I'm going to give you kind of a life hack. Everyone here who's interested in recording audio and, making videos or something, but you don't want to make like a recording room or a recording booth, here's what I do. And I still use sound dampening because I'm really persnickety about my audio quality nowadays, but I use a stage mic. This old mic here that I have is a Sennheiser E838. They're out of production. It's hard to get one now, but you can get comparable microphones easy. Get a stage mic, and you can get tiny little mixing boards that are USB compatible with like 2 inputs. and plug it into that, and you've got yourself a nice get a mic stand and a pop filter, and you've got yourself a nice little makeshift recording booth. That's what I do. That's how my audio sounds the way it is, and there's no problem with it. Have I played Stardew Valley's latest update? When did the last update? Did I miss one? Favorite Lovecraft work? My go-to is The Mountains of Madness. But The Thing on the Doorstep is excellent. Those two are just two of my favorites. That's what I'm gonna go with right now. Those are the first two that I really like that I'm thinking of. There might be one that I like more, but I have to think. People have been asking for an Only Use Me blade down the rabbit hole. I I'm not really... I don't know if I could ever do an IRL streamer video, because IRL streaming, it makes me really uncomfortable just watching it. I know I spent 2 weeks watching through Terry Davis streams, but I can't do IRL streams. It's inexplicable. There's something about them, especially watching and learning about Only Use Me Blade. I did do that after a ton of people suggested him, and just I don't think I have the mental fortitude for it. It would make me too uncomfortable. I could go on and on about that, about how abject it is, how it's people displaying themselves constantly. It feels like people taking advantage of other people constantly. Constantly. Ugh. I need to stop slouching. That's the problem. Have I ever canceled the Down the Rabbit Hole project? Once. The one on the Grover House. I made the Per Cat Cafe instead. Oh, the uterus removed. You couldn't find any source confirming that? I believe that source was from the New Yorker. I think that they had a very long series on it, and I believe that's where I got that bit of information. It's been a while, so I couldn't tell you precisely. I said uterus removed, but they use the medical term for it, so if you search like uterus, you're not going to find it. I forget what the medical term for it is. And yeah, this will be archived, guys, don't worry. Do I like Dark Souls? I've never played Dark Souls. I have it. I just need to play it. I have a huge backlog of things that I really need to get into. The Cat Cafe was a more interesting topic. I agree. That's why I canceled. That's why I canceled the video. What regular car do I have? I have. Well, my car right now is really boring. But for a long time, I drove a '73 Toyota Celica. I believe it. 73, I believe it was. Boxy little boy. People are asking about Grim Archives. Maybe. Like, I'm so focused on Down the Rabbit Hole right now that, like, it would be really fun if I could get funding to make Grim Archives, but right now, my focus is still Down the Rabbit Hole. Am I familiar with bedtime stories? I'm not. They make similar content. You can make a great collab. If I do a collab with anyone, and I am talking with someone about doing a collab, it won't be on my channel. I feel like it's hard to get crossovers working on my channel because my content is so tailored to my particular voice. And Celica wasn't a choice. I had no choice in the matter. It was the one my parents loaned me to use. The previous episode of QuaranTea hasn't been archived yet. I have it. I'll get that up tonight. I'm sorry I didn't do that last night. Have I considered doing an episode on Chip Chan? Absolutely. I won't say anything beyond that. And yeah, I really enjoyed... Oh, the music's done. Let me restart it. Tee-hee. There we go. Yeah, I feel like things are slowing down a little bit. Now might be a good time to call it. But let's go ahead and look at the super chats. Let's make one last cup of tea. Oh, and by the way, if you have like messaged me on Twitter or emailed me a topic, rest assured that I probably have seen it. If I haven't responded, it's been for a couple of reasons. The main one being that it's exhausting. I know that's a really bad reason, but I want to engage with everyone, but I have very little social energy. I'm very bad about that. So please, like, if I respond, I want it to be an earnest response, you know, not a canned response. And at that point, I'd just rather not respond at all. But I'm seeing them, and I appreciate them. I really do. What about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? That would make a really great April Fool's episode, actually. I'm glad that you all are enjoying these streams. I know they're a little bit smaller. I didn't expect them to get big. They're actually bigger than I was expecting, frankly. I don't have them monetized, so it's probably not being pushed out to people. Monetization does increase the visibility of things in the algorithm, so the stream's just not being suggested most likely. And also, you know, it's not a typical stream. It's not something where, like, oh, there's this big event. It's not like when I was reading the Channel Awesome documents, and I didn't expect it to be that way. I just felt like it might be nice to be a little cozy for a while. Do I have full Flesh Interface Saga readings on my Patreon? No. But it might be a fun, like, marathon stream to read the whole thing in one go, like a 12-hour stream. That'd be a good charity thing, maybe. All right. You weren't expecting this to be interesting. I mean, that's fair. I wasn't designing it to be, like, massively deep. All right, let's get this water heating. There's just enough water in there. 180. I don't have a full Flesh Interface reading on my Patreon, no. Let's see. Let's go ahead and look at the super chats, and then we'll call it for today. These keep going on longer than I expect. And there will be another stream tomorrow, by the way. This is going on for 7 days. So there are plenty of streams. They're probably going to be shorter from here on out. I might try to limit their length a little bit, just so I don't burn out. Okay. First up, Fuzo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I recognize you. Missed yesterday's stream. How you doing? Doing okay. I'm getting through it. I'm feeling pretty calm. Zevo Jenkins. Hell yeah. Kato Ichiyu. Hey Fred, would you ever do a video on Etika? I mentioned a while ago that I'm willing to do a video on Etika, but I wanted to wait. And I probably want to wait just a little bit longer. But it'll probably happen at some point. Tara Birchall says, hi, I'm making banana bread. Is that where the banana bread came from? I love your show. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Can I do a T pose? No. Thanks, Talons. Consuelo Higdon asks, oh, this is Calamity. Oh, hey. Made some pleb tea of my own. Hell yeah. Tell Mike the Hieronymus Bosch streams are always in the background while I make my own art. Excellent. I'm so glad. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I spent 2 very long streams with Jabroni Mike going over every little detail of Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights. You can find it if you search on YouTube. It's pretty easy. Fujo again, if you have VR, get Blade and Sorcerer. Yeah, I responded to that. Tara Birchall asked me about Lapsang Souchong. And yes, I do like Lapsang Souchong. Lou's back for another. Have a good one, Fred. Thank you. I'm having a good one. Knifeblade Fencer. Love your love your videos, Freddy boy. When can we expect another Fantastic Down the Rabbit Hole? You'll never get another Fantastic Down the Rabbit Hole. They're just going to be middling trash from this point on. But the next down the rabbit hole, the next down the rabbit hole is going to be probably in just a couple of weeks. Not going to be that much longer. I've been saying this over and over, I know. Then people who have been here for a while have heard this over and over, but it's in the final phases. Snowy Bird. You could do really good ASMR if I wanted to. I don't think I'd ever do ASMR, but I hope that you can enjoy my voice nonetheless. Dr. Ripper asks, Fred, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm so glad. Just wanted to ask, do you believe that this virus will be able to be dealt with, or maybe if it was orchestrated by someone? Quite frankly, I don't know it. This is one of those situations where I just don't know enough. The virus will be dealt with after a while, but it's only going to get worse before it gets better. It's just the nature of a highly contagious pandemic. But I don't have a whole lot of specific things to say on it, because frankly, I'm not educated. Goof Troop says chug, chug, chug. Yeah, perfect. That's how you drink tea. Mysterious Senor. I'm not going to say the name, but it's a good name. I thought you'd be the type to smoke a pipe, Fred. I have smoked a pipe before. But I don't do, like, it's been a few years since I've done it. Like, and I've never been a smoker, right? It was twice. I've smoked a pipe twice. It's just not worth it, you know? I'd rather have tea. MC Lemons asks, I love this, Fred. Feels like we're just relaxing at a tea shop and just chatting. That was the goal. I'm so glad. Drew does things. Fredrik Knudsen, connoisseur of weird facts and knowledge, does not want to try Tibetan monk shit tea. You're right. West Coast Emerald Bowl. Some subjects you should cover for future episodes are Blackbuster Critic, Joy Sparkle, BS, Channel Awesome, and FouseyTube. FouseyTube is an abject nightmare. I've had someone suggest Joy Sparkle, I believe. I'm not familiar with Blackbuster Critic. Thank you for the suggestions. Peter Melling. Oh, it's okay. Beat history. Gotcha. Hi. Okay, I'm making the connection now. What was the most unexpectedly funny thing you've encountered in your research? Oh, there's so much weird stuff, weird and funny stuff. It's all over the place, right? It's not enough to just say one funniest thing, because real life is so full of funny and ridiculous things that as I research, they're everywhere. But the next episode probably has some of the funniest things. I just can't say them because I need to wait for the episode to launch. CB96, what happened to the Warrens? It's just a slow release schedule. We do it when we feel like it. Lou wants to update the Warrens cover art. At this point, with how much you're giving in super chats, I'm just going to be giving you back the money you're super chatting. Be careful. Kakaitis Media. Suggestion for a future topic. Thomas Ligotti. Ligotti, I think. The elusive horror author who's been writing for 30 years but got more attention from True Detective Season 1. One of 5 living authors who have a Penguins classic. Interesting. Thanks for the suggestion. Pink Rose. There we go. Thank you very much for the super. Tara Burchell. In defense of hibiscus, that flavor slaps. It's good. Just, it's overused. It's like vanilla, right? Oh yeah, I remember. Quip-tipped Nick Fimk. There we go. How's it feel having the same name as Fred Figglehorn? It's a fantastic opportunity, because now I get to be the Fred from YouTube. I get to reclaim it for Freds everywhere. Mike Anderson, Kopi Luwak coffee is made from cat feces. Fun fact. All right, yep, we're there. Good. Here we go. All right, so I steeped this for 6 minutes at 80 degrees just to try to get the last little bit out of it. This might fail completely. I was still getting kind of a smooth, rich flavor out of it toward the end there. But I don't know if this is going to work. Tanara, you absolutely do not pronounce your last name the same way in German and Danish. Right, that's what I was saying. You don't say it. In German and Danish, it's Knudsen. Oh, we do that weird soft D that linguists call the stud. There we go. Stud? Is it just stud? Or I'm reading it German. Because that's the language I'm learning. Lou wants me to do an Ahegao face. No. Matt Mendelez he just says, love you both. Shout out to Red Vox and Vine Sauce. That's legit. Stockart Whiteman, you should do a Down the Rabbit Hole on the Uncensored Library. Maybe. I'll have to look into it. Naj Iod. Your videos are a godsend to listen to during factory work. You're not the first person to tell me that. And I really am happy that people can enjoy it and help pass the time a little bit. Neverlander's backing me up and saying IRL streaming wouldn't fit since most people who do it are deliberate train wrecks. Yeah, that's part of the abject nature of it, right? They're deliberately like throwing their lives away. Also, you wouldn't want me to sit through it. I don't think I could. Love these streams. I'm so glad. We've still got another 5 to go after this. And then you're probably not going to see me stream on YouTube for a very, very long time. It's something that I only like to do scarcely. April asks, have you ever read the Southern Reach trilogy? I've not. Thank you for the recommendation. Katoa says, using Google Rewards money to say hi from Chile. That's legit. Thank you very much. Hello back. Bubba Fat 69, quality name, asks, any tips for narration? Mouth clicks are difficult to overcome, but you can do it, and one of the best ways to deal with it is hydrating early on. What I did for the narration for the newest episode, I've always struggled with mouth clicks. But one of the things I did for the newest episode is I hydrated very gradually throughout the day, and then when I sat down to record, I didn't have to throw out nearly as many takes or edit nearly as much to get rid of the clicks because my mouth was hydrated. And make sure that you take a little sip of water and rinse your mouth out every 5 or 6 lines, maybe that's a bit much. But don't start recording immediately afterward. You know, just rinse your mouth out, rinse the saliva out, and then wait like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then start recording again. You have to be methodical, and it can be tiring, but that's probably the best way to go about it. That's what I do now. That's just, I know I'm just giving tips for dealing with mouth clicks, but you know, I could sit here and go on and on with narration tips, but I don't want to take up everyone's time with that. Tara Birchall says, thank you. I also made cookies because stream got long. It did get long. I don't plan on them all being this long. This is definitely much, much longer than I was expecting to go with these. All right, let's finish up this cup of tea and then call stream. Let's see how well this turned out. I'm curious. That's good. Still good. Not as good, but we're really pushing these leaves. What's my favorite cheese? Depends on my mood. It's very dependent. Please don't read Mev's super chats. He's bragging about it now in the Claw Discord. Also, I like Lapsang Souchong. Tastes like hickory smoke because it literally is smoked. It's great. It's really nice. You just kind of gotta have it after breakfast because it's such a strong flavor. Thought of doing a Down the Rabbit Hole on John Titor, the apparent time traveler that was popular. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've thought about it. So many other people have talked about him that I'm worried that I wouldn't be able to add anything. Justin Wang's video on him was great. I very much enjoyed that. Can you theoretically smoke tea? Absolutely. Favorite flavor of ice cream? Again, that depends on my mood. Just baseline? Probably black cherry, actually. Black cherry is really good. Ever heard of SATW? I don't think so. made a decision on the Edgar Allan Poe work. The Black Cat is so good. It's so good. Where the heck can I buy any of these teas? The teas that I've been drinking over the last couple of days have both been from Young Mountain Tea. You can Google search it and they ship. It's great tea. Just know that they're Indian teas, and so they are a little bit stronger for the most part. Like, even this white tea is quite strong for a white tea. And I really like it because of, like, the fresh melony flavor. And then, like, the sort of really, like, almost like thick mouthfeel. It's good. But Young Mountain Tea has a lot of really great strong teas, but the Green Mist is my favorite. I'm going to make some of that later on. If someone approached me with a very, very little known phenomenon, would I still consider it as much as something more well known? Absolutely. I considered everything. Like, popularity doesn't always matter. Sometimes if someone else has covered it, I might deprioritize it unless it's a really, really good topic for down the rabbit hole. But no, I give the same consideration to well-known and poorly known topics. No, this is not sponsored, I promise. Mouthfeel. Yes, tea has a mouthfeel. Damn it. Thick. Yeah, I've gotten plenty of, like, offers for no sponsorships from teas, obviously, but I've gotten sponsorships. I just don't do it for down the rabbit hole right now. Just because I don't want to break up the flow of down the rabbit hole. I feel it would break it. I know I'm leaving a lot on the table. I'm leaving a lot of money on the table, but, like, I'm paying my bills. I'm even putting money into savings at this point. I'm happy. I look like I have old person hands. I do have very spidery fingers, don't I? It probably has to do with, like, the veins. I'm a very vascular person. Can we talk about the mouthfeel? That's a good reference. I caught that reference. Yeah. No. Any ideas that you invested a ton of time into that you dropped late into the development process? The only topic that I've dropped so far is the Grover House. And that was, like, during research, but it did take a little while to figure out I was going to drop it. I found this channel thanks to RCR. Any opportunity of seeing a collab with him on my channel? I'm not collaborating with anyone on my channel anymore. But you'll see him later this week. He's one of the guests. Spoilers. In 36 hours, Dijail. That's how I choose to pronounce it. In 36 hours, I'm going to have a phone interview with Google. Wish me luck. Good luck. Yeah, I don't have a lot of ads on my videos, but, like, Patreon helps a lot. Patreon is, like, kind of the big difference maker. It gives me stability. A lot of stability. Again, like, crowdfunding. It's fantastic. I'm so glad that I have it. It would be so much scarier without Patreon. So if any patrons are listening to this, seriously, thank you so much. Marco Duenas says, love your content. Stay safe, man. I'm doing my best. I'm staying pretty safe. Scandinavia and the world. Oh, wait a minute. I have heard of this. This is kind of like... wasn't it memed a lot a little while ago? It's kind of a dead meme at this point. Ever heard of the Chronicles of Count Dankula and his pug? Yeah, that got real ridiculous really fast. He also shouted me out on Twitter. That was pretty rad. I don't know. It's just nice to be recommended. That's true of, like, any size of, you know, if someone's a creator or not. It's still just one of the highest praises that I feel I can get as a creator is when someone shows someone else my work, because it means that not only did they enjoy it, but they enjoyed it enough to show to their friends whose time, you know, they supposedly, or like presumably is what I meant to say, presumably value. And they say, no, you know what, this is worth your time. And that means a lot. It's a very meaningful gesture. You checked out Atrocity Guide because of my recommendation. You fall in love with their content. It's fantastic. Why isn't my Roomba moving? It took me a second to figure out what you were talking about. Oh, that's fantastic. I think I'm going to call my tea tray my Roomba from now on. That's great. Good tea, but it's definitely, these leaves are at the end of their lives. Here, check this out. You know what? So you saw the leaves from the beginning. Hopefully, they were all curled up, but now they've been hydrated and they're all unfurled. This is what they looked like before they were dried and treated. There's the leaf. This is one of the ways that you can tell that loose leaf tea is good, if like the whole leaf is there. It's a little broken up, but like it's there. And this is really delicious tea. But yeah, it's kind of cool where it goes from like being very small to much more voluminous. Is that a Roomba in the back? I don't have a Roomba. All right. We're just about done with the tea. I think this is a good place to call it. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time. Come check out the channel. 4 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. PST. And let's go ahead and raid Mike. Here we go. Control C, Control V. Just got the green mist in Nilgiri Oolong. The green mist is addictive, just fair warning. There's Mike's Twitch channel. Let's raid him. Say, let me think. What's good for his channel? Tell him you're going down his rabbit hole. Or just like, time to go down your rabbit hole. Stockart Whiteman, would you ever cover the real-life superhero project? It's essentially real people acting as vigilantes to various degrees of absurdity. It's wild. Atrocity Guide did such a good job of it, I don't feel like I could add anything. That's... Just watch Atrocity Guide's video. Seriously. I'm not worried about, like, other people taking topics either. Like, I have so many things that I can cover. Alright, everyone. Hit up Mike. Tell him it's time to go down his rabbit hole. I'll link him again. I'll link it a few times. I'm gonna spam chat with it. There we go. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Gonna call it here. See y'all tomorrow.